you like it, but it drives you insane. You know you like it, but you're scared of the shame. What you want, what you gonna do? You know you like it, but it drives you insane. Only because you know that you wanna feel the same. You know you like it, but it drives you insane. What you want, what you gonna do?
Longhorns don't fear the Bears. And look at the head on that guy. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Y'all ain't know Bevo had that in him.
Hey, Ben.
Texas rain, Texas rain. V-Y knock you out. V-Y knock you out. That's all, folks. Check out the pics on that young man.
Good Photoshop. Extra, extra, read all about it. Time for your Sunday headlines. This is how the headlines will read in your favorite publication when Texas wins this football game. We start off with my apologies to McConaughey, but Gerard Hurd is the real thundering Hurd. I say he takes over the quarterback job with this performance in this game. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes, but he's going to make more plays than mistakes. They need a playmaker, not a manager at quarterback. Thundering Hurd with Gerard.
Yeah, so my headline is unfortunate that it's lackluster performance in 3 consecutive games by the Texas offense that is headlines when they score touchdowns.
All right. Coach Strong's been calling for it all week since the last game against Notre Dame. I've been talking about it tonight. If Texas wants to win, you got to be living in the gray area.
Well done.
Living in the gray area.
Here we go. Now, we've had some good ones, some great ones. This is up there.
One of my favorite movies of all time, The Terminator. I'll be back. Did I say that right? I'll be back.
I love it. And loving the fact we got a little Texas football coming up. Let's give people from the Senate, Wadid Sharaf, Ahmad Brooks, Keith Moreland, some of the keys that will be critical early on. What does Texas have to do in this first quarter to make you feel good about the direction they're heading in?
They got to come out here and let everybody know that they're playing at home. This is my stadium. You're not finna come in here and push me around. It's going to be a physical, tough, fun game for Texas today, and I hope they do that. I hope they feel like that as a Texas team.
Yeah.
I just want to see Texas blow Rice out. If I want to see them come out here, dominate the field, up and down the field, scoring a lot of touchdowns, blow Rice out, build some momentum going into Cal and then on into the Big 12 schedule.
Yeah, they gotta avoid a 3-and-out early in the game. You know, we have to see something from Jay Norvell and his offense. We have to see execution. We have to see efficiency early in the game so that these players on this team start to have confidence in their new play calling.
Well, we're going to join everybody at the half, let you know if Texas did those things in the first quarter. We're about to hear the eyes. After that, Anish Shroff, Keith Moreland, Ahmad Brooks on the call. Here on Longhorn Network. Enjoy the game. We will see you at the half. Thanks for watching, and hook 'em up.
Welcome to Texas football presented by HEB. We're live at Darrell K. Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium. The Longhorns have won 15 consecutive home openers. Tonight, Texas takes on an old foe from the Southwest Conference, the Rice Owls. It has been a rough week for this Longhorn program, a humiliating and embarrassing loss last Saturday in Notre Dame. Charlie Strong was blunt on Monday. He said the outcome Saturday, not acceptable. On Tuesday, changes. Sean Watson relieved of his play calling duties. And Jay Norvell, the receivers coach in his first year at Texas, will now call the plays tonight against Rice. Texas faces a school in Rice that it has dominated. The Longhorns have won 40 of the last 41 meetings against the Owls. Rice's last win in Austin 50 years ago. Good evening, Anish Shroff, glad to be with you. And these men are with me, Ahmad Brooks and Keith Moreland, both played football at Texas. Keith, you also played baseball at Texas. Glad to be part of the whole Longhorn Network tradition this evening. And gentlemen, last weekend Notre Dame took Texas to Bovine University. It wasn't pretty. Yesterday, the coaches and players all said, hey, that wasn't us. Okay, who is Texas then?
Well, I think at this point, they don't know who they are. They have not formed an identity. When you look at Charlie Strong as a defensive coordinator, he had an identity. As a head coach at Louisville, he had an identity. His team stopped the run. They were able to run the ball downhill. Texas, in his 14 games here as head coach, has not formed that identity, especially offensively, where they haven't been able to establish what they wanted to do and perform in that department.
Ahmad, they want to forge an identity, so they've got a new play caller in Jay Norvell. What can we expect with the change?
I think you'll see play calling that is predicated on getting the ball in the hands of the playmakers, guys like DJ Johnson, Jonathan Gray. And I also think you have a guy that's calling plays now, familiar with this offense, and knows that in up-tempo offenses, you have to be concerned with your personnel grouping. So I look for Jay Norvell to run the football more, but also have the right personnel on the field.
Which quarterback starts? That's the big mystery. Charlie Strong did not reveal that to us yesterday. Will it be Gerard Hurd, the freshman who played 5 snaps against Notre Dame, or Tyrone Swoops, who started last week but struggled?
Yeah, the rush yards here for Gerard Hurd are my main concern. 2 sacks consecutive as he left the ball game. He's got to know when to run, buy time with his feet, and help out this offense.
I think both players will get the opportunity to play quarterback tonight.
Our Veterans Coin Toss presented by Texas Lottery. The veteran doing the honors tonight, retired Air Force Communications Specialist Candy Mejia. Mr. Mejia spent 5 active years and 17 years as a reserve in the Air Force.
Has won the toss and will receive to open the ball game.
So Rice wins the toss, and the visiting Owls will receive. There's their head coach, David Bailiff. What a job he's done in Houston. 25 wins in the previous 3 seasons, and this is home for him.
It is home. He's from the Central Texas area. He's really done an outstanding job at Rice, going out, all of his coaches, Texas high school coaches. He's really done a nice job of recruiting the type of player that Rice needs to perform. They've got to have great intelligence to go to school, and then the other part, they've got good skilled people, especially on the outside.
Jane Slater is the 4th member of our team. Jane, do we know who's playing quarterback?
Anish, it is still a mystery, as you alluded to earlier. Coach Charlie Strong playing especially coy when it comes to naming his starter. I talked to him on Friday, asked him to name his guy. He didn't do it. When he walked in the stadium at 5 this afternoon, I asked him to name his starter, and he still didn't do it. What I will tell you is just watching these guys play before the game, Gerard Hurd was getting the majority of the reps against the first team. So glean what you will from that. Guys, back to you.
What do you make of that? Because, Ahmad, you told me, and Keith, you told me in practice it was Tyrone Swoops getting the first team reps.
Yeah, and to see Gerard Hurd actually running with the first team offense, as Jane just mentioned, That was surprising to me. I expect this team to still go with Tyrone Swoops. But if Gerard Hurd does come out, these fans are going to erupt.
Well, they will erupt, but again, I think both of them will get the opportunity. You're going to find a way to create some offense. That's something that the last 3 ball games we'll get to as the night goes on. It's been very difficult for Texas to create any type of offense.
The eyes of Texas tonight will be on the man you just saw, Jay Norvell. First game with Texas as a play caller. First time he's been calling plays really since 2007 when he was at UCLA. It's been a long time since Norvell has been in this role. Rice tonight only a 14.5-point underdog. In the previous 8 meetings, Texas has been favored by an average of 33, but Austin, over the last half century, has not been kind to this Rice Owls football team. They're looking to change that tonight and get a signature win for Coach Bailiff against a Power 5.
Well, you look at it, what they've got to do is they got to protect the football through the Rice Owls, and they've got to allow their quarterback to make plays. Dreyfus Jackson, we'll talk about all night, is a guy that can make plays in space.
Nick Rose kicks it off. And a little trickeration right from the get-go. Here's Sam Stewart across the 20. He's got the 30. Stewart to the 45-yard line. Stewart played dead when the cannon sounded and the kick went off. Luke Turner with the throw, and Rice pulling out all the stops from play 1.
Inside their own end zone, they run a trickery play on the opening kickoff. How about a throw all the way across, Ahmad? They threw it 40 yards across the field in the end zone.
Doesn't surprise me. Texas last year, they're ranked 128th in the nation, dead last in kickoff return yards.
Play clock down to 2. And Dreyfus Jackson and Rice need a timeout.
One of the things that I saw right off the bat, Ahmad, and I know you were watching it, Texas comes out in a different looking front than we've seen. They were in a 3-3 stack. That means they had 3 linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. And because of that, Jackson looked at it, couldn't get into the play that he wanted to right off the bat. They have to waste the timeout.
You know, and what that does is when you have a 3-stack look, it keeps the offensive linemen guessing. They don't know where that fifth potential rusher is coming from. And Vance Bedford does a fine job of mixing up the front and the looks that he gives offenses.
Keith Dreyfus Jackson is the quarterback for this Rice team, a 5th-year senior, a 2-year starter. And is he the best quarterback between the lines tonight?
Well, he told all of us yesterday that he was the best player on the field. You know, he is a very confident young man. He can really do things with his feet. At times, he tries to force the action, tries to make too big a play if you can get pressure on him. It'll be interesting early if he can get the triple option going.
Rice without its starting tailback. Jawan Davis out with a sprained ankle. They do get their top receiver, Dennis Parks, back. He didn't play last week. On first down, this is Derek Dillard across midfield. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage. Brad Van Vark, our referee tonight. It's a Big 12 conference crew.
Holding, offense, number 54. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
It's on the sophomore, Trey Martin. Time for our impact players brought to you by HEB. Keith, what do we have when Rice has the ball?
Well, Rice does so much on the ground that they will try to get vertical. And when they get vertical, it's Dennis Parks, number 4 on the outside. He's got outstanding speed, and he'll be matched up an awful lot tonight with John Bonney, a corner that has played pretty well in his few starts, but that's going to be a big matchup as the night goes on.
Texas bringing pressure off the edge. Jackson eludes the pursuit on the run, and he'll throw it away.
Guys, that is the scariest part of Jackson's game. You see him there. I mean, Malik Jefferson blitzing off the left side. He's got a beat on him. Jackson there steps up in the pocket, dupes him with one move. He is elusive. And Texas has not done all that well against dual threat quarterbacks. Watch for Jackson to have a big night.
Jefferson, one of the few bright spots in a blowout loss to Notre Dame. Sam Stewart, the redshirt freshman in the backfield on the right hip of Jackson. Jefferson that time, fake pressure. Now Jefferson wraps up Jackson for a loss of 3.
Bringing him off the corner right there. And when you look at this off the corner, he just beats the initial rush. They try to come back and hook block him inside with the tight end that time. And you can see the tight end, Sella, coming back trying to get him. Jefferson would have no part of that, brings him down, brings up 3rd and long. These are not the scenarios that the Rice Owls want to be in, is 3rd and forever.
Jefferson told us he just wanted to do his job, not try to be a superhero in this game. And he's right up there near the line of scrimmage, potentially bringing a blitz. 46 in burnt orange. Jefferson drops back. So does Jackson. Jackson nowhere to go. Near sideline, incomplete. And it's 3 and out for Rice.
Yeah, Poona Ford doing a nice job there, getting penetration. Number 95, the defensive tackle for Texas, beating the double team, getting in Dreyfus' face, and forcing him and flushing him outside of the pocket.
So a Rice offense which put up more than 560 total yards in a 56-16 win against Wagner goes 3 and out. And Texas back deep to receive the punt. It's DJ Johnson. This one takes a Rice bounce, and it'll go out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 20-yard line, and we're about to find out who will play quarterback for the Longhorns. Will it be Gerard Hurd? You'll find out after the break. The crowd and this broadcast booth pregnant with anticipation. Will it be Gerard Hurd or Tyrone Swoops to take the first snap of the game for Texas? Both in the huddle, both with helmets on.
That little coach trickery right there, trying to deceive the other side, as Rice is probably determining their personnel package on who will come out.
I don't think there's a doubt about it, because it's going to be, they're 2 different styles.
Yep.
Both can run the football, but obviously Hurd is the guy that can make it quick, get on the corner, make things happen. Swoop's a little better passer, more proficient going down the field, so it'll be interesting to see what happens right here on this first snap.
Needless to say, this is an offense that needs an injection, that needs some excitement. 163 total yards last week against Notre Dame, 59 in the bowl game against Arkansas, and it'll be Gerard Hurd, the redshirt freshman who won 2 state titles at Denton Guyer, making his first career start. On first down, he gives it to Jonathan Gray, who's dropped right at the line of scrimmage by Ross Winship, the nose tackle.
Immediately you see Texas get into some speed and pace with the offensive rhythm.
They were hardly on the field last week. Hurd making sure everybody's set. Hurd. Option to his left, ran out of room, and is taken down at the line of scrimmage by Brian Womack. Gerard Hurd only played 5 snaps in a loss to the Irish. He backed up Tyrone Swoops last year, but didn't play at all.
Yeah, this kid, of all the quarterbacks, might have the only exceptional skill in that room, and that is his running ability. Now, he's going to struggle throwing the football, but when he cuts it loose and runs, this kid can flat out fly.
To throw on 3rd and long. Hurd scrambling, using his feet, picks up a first down and more. Hurd across midfield, into Rice territory, and out of bounds inside the 30. Gerard Hurd with a bolt of excitement for this crowd.
There's a flag on the play, but that won't dampen what the fans saw. They saw a kid. Watch this. The play breaks down. You can't see it here, but coverage everywhere. Rice doing a nice job. Nice setup block there by Jonathan Gray. but this is what this kid does special. Getting in the open field, running the football.
Number 47 of the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
It's still a first down, but it'll negate what would have been a 53-yard run.
It's just anticipation as a runner right here. He does a nice job setting up the block to the outside, and then right here, this is what you were talking about, that special skill. Electric. Just the speed, the breakaway ability to carry the football down the field.
Penalty on the tight end, Andrew Beck. So 1st and 10 from the Texas 44. Here's Gray. And Gray bullies his way to the 49-yard line. He's one of our impact players, and part of the game plan is to get Jonathan Gray more touches than last week.
Yeah, the senior was distraught a week ago after only getting 8 touches in the backfield, 4 in the first half. He's got to be the guy today on the ground. And then on the other side for Rice, if they're going to have an opportunity to stop the run, it'll start with number 4, Alex Lyon, very active player in the tackle machine.
Hurd to Gray out of the backfield. He's got midfield. And pushed out of bounds by Lions. It's enough for a Texas first down, a gain of 8.
That's a well-designed play right there. As a play caller, let's allow the first pass to be something that's simple. Get a back out in the flat, get it to Gray, get a first down into Rice territory.
You get a couple of first downs. Now you can run a little tempo. Hurd will keep this, and he is sandwiched back at the 44 for a loss. Derek Brown and Tabari McGaskey on the stop. Brown starting for Rice. Grayson Shantz, who played well last week against Wagner, is out due to undisclosed disciplinary reasons.
Yeah, it's coach's decision. He will not play tonight.
Here's Gray. Has an opening. Uses the stiff arm. And out of bounds at the 36. That was Deontay Foreman, pardon me. That goes as a gain of 9.
Yeah, this kid's a bull. He runs hard, maybe the hardest runner on this team, and he's physical. Watch him finish this run. Oh, get off of me. I don't got time for that. Foreman, with his twin brother on the team, he's finally getting some increased reps, and that's why he's been doing that in spring and in fall camp.
Foreman stays in on 3rd down. He gets the call. Right up the middle and plunges ahead for a first down.
Head on head right there. Running the football in short yardage is about an offensive lineman getting their head on the defensive lineman and doing a nice job of getting the push and get the first down.
Jay Norvell with the play calling duties after Sean Watson was relieved of those earlier this week. And as we said earlier, Norvell hasn't called plays on a regular basis since 2007 when he was at UCLA. Hurd to throw, has time, downfield. A lot of contact and a touchdown. Amani Foreman.
Yeah, when you get the running game going like Texas had, you get one-on-one matchups. There you see VJ Banks on the outside taking on Foreman, and Hurd tosses his first touchdown pass. And how about the dance? The big fella getting excited about playing some football.
Texas has been searching for some time for an answer at the quarterback position. It's only one drive. It's against an opponent from Conference USA. But Gerard Hurd has infused a little excitement into the season once again.
Sure he has.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is presented by H-E-B. For all your game day needs, no store does more than H-E-B. And in part by Chevy Silverado, official truck of the Texas Longhorns.
Malik Jefferson before the game, a freshman linebacker. Texas was embarrassed, humiliated, panned nationally after its performance against Notre Dame They needed this out of the gate, guys.
Yeah, and what I like, 7 runs on that entire drive, and that was the issue that we had last week. You weren't putting the ball on the ground. He certainly sparked this offense and passed the ball a lot better than I thought he would in his first start.
No chance for Rice here. They'll get it at the Rice 25-yard line. And the second series for this Rice outfit wearing the white helmets. Dreyfus, Jackson, and company went 3 and out the first time.
After outstanding starting field position on their first drive, now they'll have to start back on their own 25.
Dennis Parks, the top receiver for Rice, lined up at the bottom of your screen. Dillard in the backfield. Dillard gets the call and gets to the 30-yard line for a gain of 5. Derek Dillard, the lead back today. Jawan Davis, who almost had 1,000 yards rushing last year for Rice, out with an ankle injury, and all Dillard does is score touchdowns. 15 career rushing TDs. His brother Jarrett set the NCAA all-time record for receiving touchdowns with 60. Sam Stewart breaks free and pushes across the 40 before he's tackled by Jefferson. A gain of 10 and a first down. Keith, you liked Rice's running back group that they had. You saw them last week in person.
Absolutely. When you look at them, they're all three bring a little bit different to the table. Dillard's a little bit more of a power back. Stewart is a little guy. And then you got Austin Walters, you'll see later on the game. He's the guy that can go all the way to the house. He's got outstanding speed.
Back to Stewart. And he picks up 3. These Rice running backs, we've seen a couple of plays now. They're able to break that initial tackle and get maybe a yard or 2 extra.
Yeah, we saw that from Notre Dame last week, beating the first would-be tackler. And for Texas to succeed, you've got to drop ball carriers when you touch them on initial contact.
And you also have to worry about a quarterback who can run. On the ground again, and Dillard picks up 3 more. It'll bring up 3rd and 4. Mayshawn Hughes on the stop.
Vance Bedford doing some different things now with his base 4 front. This particular possession, the first possession, he was in basically a 3-3 stack.
Rice needs to get to midfield. Play clock running down. Texas shows blitz, brings it. Rice picks it up downfield, and a little too far for Temi Alaka. John Bonney, or rather Antoine Davis, getting the start at corner today on the coverage.
Yeah, and Vance was not happy about the 3rd down production from his defense, but you see here, press coverage, locking up on the edges with Antoine Davis and Duke Thomas in the slot. That was good coverage, but the throw was off a tad bit because of the pressure in his face. Texas there, the right play call and good technique to finish it and get off the field.
Jay Johnson inside his own 15 at about the 13, waiting for this punt by James Fairmont. And Johnson makes the catch, spins away from one would-be tackler, gets the edge. Johnson gets a block across midfield. DeJay Johnson now cuts it back. No one in front. Touchdown, Texas! An 85-yard punt return by DeJay.
This is the boost that you need. For people who go out to practice, you've seen this kid do spectacular things. He's finally putting it all together. We saw him do it at Oklahoma a few years back with a major punt return. And this one, equally as big, 2 spin moves and pure out speed as he finishes in pay dirt.
And an early statement by this Longhorn unit that was embarrassed last week. Texas with its first 2 touchdowns of 2015. Deshae Johnson, 85 yards to pay dirt.
Longhorn Nation, it's
An 85-yard punt return touchdown by Deshae Johnson has given Texas a 14-0 lead. His 4th career touchdown of 65 or more yards. Texas needed to make a statement today. They've come out in boldface, italicized, underscored, and it's all in caps lock so far.
Big plays. Yeah, you get a big run from Gerard Hurd and obviously the punt return there. Yeah, we got to look at this play one more time. Deshae Johnson, I thought it was ill-advised to even catch the ball there. He shakes off 2 guys, makes another guy miss, and when he hits the edge, this is why he's the speed jet sweep guy, because let me tell you, it is hard to catch that guy when you see the back of his jersey. And watch this, Charlie Strong even getting in on the action. That's what I'm talking about.
Jane with more on Deshae Johnson.
Well, you know, Deshae Johnson spent most of last year in Coach Charlie Strong's doghouse. When we talked to him this summer, though, he said he had renewed goals for himself and more focus this season. He says he was tired of not living up to expectations and letting people down. He said it was the fact that the coaching staff believed in him that made him finally start believing in himself. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, a guy who was off suspended before Strong got here, suspended early last season, and a local kid who's found himself and who's grown up. 2nd and 5 Rice after a 5-yard run by Derek Dillard. Movement up front.
Ahmad, it's really interesting to me to see what Vance Bedford is doing defensively in the game. Get the call here.
66, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Came out early with 5 defensive backs and 3 linebackers. He went back to base defense the last time. Now he's in a very base defense where he doesn't even have a nickel in the game. It's 4 linemen, 3 linebackers, 4 defensive backs.
Texas shifts his line, now going with 3 down linemen. Antoine Davis showing blitz. Now he backs off. Jackson under pressure. Jefferson's got him by the ankles. Jackson gets away. And now taken down to the 10-yard line. It's the safety, Dylan Haynes, with the sack.
Next to impossible to tackle. That's the one thing you can say. Just a great individual effort. Dead to rights. Jefferson has him. He gets away from him. And then he just does not have the chance to get rid of the football when Haynes comes in and make the tackle. There's too many folks back there to get away from.
Guys, he almost ran out of his britches on that play. Wow.
A loss of 14, 3rd and long. Texas drops 2 of its safeties back. Speed option. Dillard across the 20, 25, and then crawls near the 30-yard line, brought down again by Haynes. They'll bring up 4th down.
Negative plays have hurt the Rice Owls so far. They've had a holding penalty in the first possession, the big negative sack right there on this possession. They have gone backwards, not gotten themselves where they can try to get ahead of the chains and hold the football, which was their way to win the football game, was to control the possession, the time of the clock. Right now, they're behind in that. Texas has controlled that.
Johnson, who took the last punt 85 yards for his score, awaits this kick by Fairmont. And this one is fielded by the up man. That's Duke Thomas. And Thomas has an opening. Thomas with a block inside the 10, taken down near the 5-yard line. A 56-yard return. Special teams coming through for Texas.
Yeah, Duke Thomas there wasn't even supposed to field the kick, but it was a short kick. And instead of him fair catching it, which is what they tell you to do, Duke Thomas, the senior, said, I'm not having it. I don't get the ball in my hands enough. And you see him there, the former quarterback in the Texas high school area, trying to tap back into those quarterbacking skills and make some moves.
You know, you could easily make the case, if you go by the book, Duke and DeJay both should have fair caught the football.
Fair enough. You're right. I agree. I thought it was an ill-advised decision already with pressure in your face, and yet these guys have turned it into big plays for Texas.
First red zone trip of the season for Texas. Give us to Jonathan Gray. Gray reaching, and he'll be marked down at the 1-yard line. Coming into this game, Texas had scored 2 touchdowns in its previous 3 games. 2 already in the first quarter, and now second and goal from the 1.
They brought in their fullback, Delatorre. With 1 yard here, this offensive line, these are those challenges you get when you're working on goal line throughout the week in practice. Can you punch it in here at the 1?
Hurd feeds Gray, touchdown, Texas.
Great job up front of sealing. You get penetration offensively, and then you seal the backside, and they did a great job. And Jay Gray with absolutely nothing to do right there. We may have a flag on the play. Here's the call.
Waiting on Brad Van Vark.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 40. The result of the play is a touchdown. The penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff.
Brady Wright, a redshirt freshman from Cyprus, the guilty party. Extra point attempt by Nick Rose. 21-0. The Longhorns making an early statement against their rival from Houston. Big plays have been the reason for Texas's early success.
Yeah, and it comes from big playmakers. Amani Foreman getting in on the action. Nice job of identifying the football. And here, to Jay Johnson. Didn't think he should have caught the ball, but when you do things like this, none of the coaches are complaining. Number 4 taking it to the house for Texas' second score. And then here, Duke Thomas, the up-back. Probably supposed to fair catch it here, but he didn't. And once again, Texas with another big play on special teams that leads to points. Texas on fire right now offensively.
Ahmad, last year Texas had 177 total yards on punt returns. That was all season. 141 in the first quarter tonight.
Yeah, that's been the difference, and they were 98th in the country a season ago in terms of punt return allowed. So, I mean, you're talking here, this was a team last year that just really couldn't get it done on special teams. So to have those 2 big plays, I think that's more important than what you even saw from the offense.
Duke Thomas, a 56-yard punt return to Jay Johnson, took one back 85 yards. And Gerard Hurd making his first start at quarterback, 2 for 2 with a touchdown pass to Amani Foreman. Austin Walter in the backfield. He gets the pitch from Dreyfus Jackson. Walter's got some speed, and he's close to the first down. Keith, you saw Rice last week, and their coaches told us with Walter and Sam Stewart, this backfield has an element of speed it really didn't have the last few years.
Well, this is a young man that can't take it all the way to the house. Stewart's got great speed, but this is electric speed. They like to get him in space like that with the quick pitch or the speed option.
There's Walter again, and he gets a couple. Last week, 107 rushing yards, including a 32-yard touchdown run.
Well, Rice has got to find a way. Even they can't get in to start throwing the football. That's not their style. They've got to run the football. They want to control some clock. So they've got to start moving the chains to get back in the ball game.
Sam Stewart flips over to the other side. Jefferson coming on the blitz. Jackson trying to shake him. And now Dreyfus Jackson takes a big hit by Shiro Davis right at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and 8.
One of the things that you both and I are shaking our head a little bit, young guys with great talent. Malik Jefferson's got great talent, but he gets an education right here as a defensive football player. You cannot commit. He never gives up. Won't take that away from him, Ahmad. But one of the things right there, you got to be under control at times.
Indeed.
That's become a game within a game early on. Jefferson against Jackson. Four-man rush. Jackson completes. He's got Connor Silla. Actually, it's Cole Hunt. A gain of 9, enough for a first down.
Pressure was there, stepped up, made a nice throw right there under pressure with the pocket collapsing on him.
Hunt, a 6'7" sophomore, the backup tight end. And that was the first completion by Dreyfus Jackson. Jackson will keep this, looking for the edge. Gets away again from Jefferson and takes it to midfield for a gain of 4. You can tell Malik Jefferson is going to be a great player.
Yeah.
And he can make up for a lot right now with that athleticism. Once he starts figuring out the nuances, he will be scary to watch.
Look, that dog can hunt. All right, he hunts the football, and he's got a speed, and it is full speed.
He was the top recruit in a top 10 class, Charlie Strong's first real recruiting class. There's Sam Stewart. A flag comes in. If the play is good, it's good enough for a first down.
Holding. Offense, number 51. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
Peter Godber, the right guard, who made his first career start last week. He's from Canada, Toronto, and Rice has had success getting Canadians to come to Houston. Assistant head coach Darrell Patterson, a CFL linebacker in the 80s. Jackson looking to dump it off, and it falls incomplete at the feet of Sam Stewart, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. After a 35-point loss to Notre Dame, Texas has come out angry at home. It's 21-0 Longhorns. former Texas Longhorn basketball players in attendance. Miles Turner. Now with the Pacers, KD in the house. Kevin Durant with the OKC Thunder. TJ Ford with Shaka Smart, the team's new head coach. Shaka's brand of basketball at VCU known as Havoc. Texas wreaked havoc on special teams in that first quarter. Punt return setting up 2 of the 3 scores. 3rd and long for Rice to start the second. Jackson floats one over the middle, and he's got Dennis Parks. And the return of Parks, big for Rice. He was held out last week, more of a precaution for a nagging hamstring injury.
Well, he's got the opportunity to really take you deep, and you have to give ground as a defensive back. They caught him in zone that time, though. They had a little inside route from the inside slot receiver to the outside, sort of froze the corner. Get the seam.
Stewart got a couple on first down. Stewart now to the sidelines, and Derek Dillard checks back in. Jackson getting the call from the sideline. The senior from Cedar Hill to throw. Fires one over the middle, and that is hauled in by James Maiden. It's good enough for a first down. Maiden, the big play threat for Rice. Only 7 catches last year, but he averaged 33 yards a reception.
And what about the throw there from Jackson? He put that thing on the money and in the perfect location.
So Rice with its first real scoring threat of the night. A pitch to Dillard. Haynes has him wrapped up in the backfield. And Dillard able to get at least back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and long.
When you feather the option, use the sideline. Inside out pressure, you start the option, the quick flip to the outside, and you do your job. Come from the inside as a safety, use that 13th tackler, or the 12th tackler on the sideline, and get him out of bounds. Nice defense.
11th play of the drive. Zach Wright in the slot. He had a couple of big catches last week. Jackson, happy feet. Throws it away, 3rd down and 10. Good coverage that time by the Texas secondary. They were in that nickel look to start.
Yeah, it was good coverage, and had Dreyfus actually rolled to his left, he would have seen it. There was people open, but once you roll to your right, you've committed. But a smart decision there by Dreyfus Jackson, throwing the ball out of bounds and keeping the sticks where they are.
There's the blitz. Jackson, end zone, intercepted by Texas. Jason Hall picks it off, and he'll run it out. And Hall tackled near the 35-yard line.
He fumbled the ball.
And he fumbled the ball, and Rice got it back.
You make a great play in the end zone, but watch how loose he's carrying that football. And look, coaches, offensive coaches, every week in practice talk about turnovers. And when a defensive guy has the ball, they practice on raking the football out because defensive players aren't used to carrying the football. That time there, prime example of it, Jason Hall should have been carrying it in his right hand to prevent that from happening. But a fine job of getting the pick, but you've got to give credit to Rice for staying in that play and making something happen.
Keith, should he have run it out?
Well, I think at the point, yes, because he was easily back out past the 20, but you've got to have that feel, and Ahmad's absolutely right. You have to feel the pressure around you. You know you're going to take it to the house at that point. You know, sometimes it's better off to be on the turf and be down, and your team with the crowd excited. Instead, it readjust the defense. Defense has to come back out on the field. And the other part of that is, you saw right there from Jackson, if you can get pressure on him, he has a tendency at time to force the issue.
Let's go down to Jane.
Hey guys, look who I found on the sidelines. It's Kevin Durant. Welcome back to Austin. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Excited to be back.
A lot of Texas fans and of course Thunder fans want to know your health. How's the foot?
I was doing well. Back to 100%. Just trying to get back in the groove of things, and but I'm happy I'm here, man. It's been a while since I've been back on campus, and it's good to see all my brothers as well.
You recently said you're still the best player. Why'd you say that?
That's how confident I am, and it was a tough year for me as far as my health is concerned. So I have to stay mentally ready, in order to be the best player I can be. So that's how I have to think.
You've had an opportunity to now meet this new coaching staff, namely head coach Shaka Smart. What do you think?
Oh, I love him, man. Love him. Great guy that's looking to turn the program around, and everybody's behind him. So as much support as I can give, I'm going to give, and the rest of the guys feel the same way.
Two new rookies in the NBA this year. You guys get Miles Turner playing for Indiana, Jonathan Holmes for the Lakers. What advice have you given them?
Oh, man, just, enjoy it. Enjoy it, man. It goes past fast. I can remember when I was coming out of college, man, and I'm almost 9 years in. So just told them to enjoy it, man, and welcome. And we're always going to treat them. It's a small fraternity when you get to the NBA, man. It feels good to have two more.
You've always been a strong supporter of Texas. What's it like to come back to one of the football games?
It means a lot to me to come back. This tradition, this fan base is amazing, always supportive of me, and I always remember the times I had here.
Kevin, thank you so much for talking to us. Enjoy Austin while you're here. Guys, back to you up at the booth.
All right, Jane, Kevin Durant checking out his alma mater. Third down for Rice, 5 to go. Dreyfus Jackson back into the game at quarterback. They have Luke Turner in. He runs that owl formation, which is Rice's version of the Wildcat. Texas brings heat. Jackson pumps, throws, and it is caught. Temi Alaka picks up a first down, a gain of 8, and Rice able to move the chains.
Yeah, give the kid credit. He stands tall in the pocket, and they've got him listed at 6 foot. I think he's more like 5'11". But watch the route here, just a comeback route. John Bonnie was in the proper location, but the throw threw him open and into a place where he could catch the football and move the chains.
This is Sam Stewart inside the 10 and spun down at the 5-yard line. No, he was on his feet. He never went down. So Rice gets on the board. Sam Stewart never gave up on the play.
Well, he just busts right through the middle in a quick opener, but watch here at the end as he starts to be pulled down. His body never goes to the ground. He keeps his feet up. Knees never touch. That's going to be reviewed, but that's going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, and you got a redshirt freshman, John Bonnie, tackling here. And one thing he'll learn after this play is you hold the ball carrier down until you hear the whistle. And that is fair football. But right here, he thinks he's got him matched up. Poor angle there from the safety, Jason Hall, who could have potentially cleaned the play up. But a young freshman making a mistake at a time where Texas had some momentum. Now Rice gets on the board.
They will take a look at this. You mentioned the momentum, Ahmad. Remember, Dreyfus Jackson on the last possession intercepted in the end zone. On the return, Jason Hall fumbled to give the ball back to Rice. A third down conversion, and then Sam Stewart, it looked like he went down, but his knee never touched.
Watch his left arm here. It never touches the ground either. It's on the knee. Bonnie's. That's a touchdown, folks.
Stewart was a guy who had some Big 12 interest out of high school. He's from Cyprus, a redshirt freshman, and a couple of big plays in the win against Wagner last week. A 35-yard touchdown catch and a 21-yard run.
Well, this all goes back to the pick, a turnover that leads to another turnover. I mean, you have the pick in the end zone, it's brought back out, and then the fumble on the return, and just like that, Rice gets some life here. You know, one of the things I felt like that Rice needed to do was control the clock. Well, they did in the first quarter, but the two big punt returns are the difference in the game, the 56-yarder and the 85-yarder.
No question.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called touchdown.
Denise Schroff, Ahmad Brooks, Keith Moreland, Jane Slater down on the field, 21-6. The Rice Owls on the board after a touchdown run by Sam Stewart. His second touchdown of the season, had a touchdown catch last week. 11:23 to go here in this first half. Home opener for Texas. The Longhorns have won 15 consecutive home openers. Jack Fox on for the point after. And his kick is good. Sam Stewart never went down. He gets in. And David Bailiff, who grew up going to Texas games, likes what he sees. '24 in orange, John Bonney, one of 21 freshmen who played in the season opener in South Bend. Only 3 schools played more. Keith Moreland, when you play freshmen, you sometimes have growing pains.
Well, you do have some growing pains. You can see right there, Texas played 15 true freshmen last week at Notre Dame. And, you know, Carl Reese was the old defensive coordinator here, and a long-time defensive coach says, you know, if you run a couple of freshmen out there, especially in the secondary, you're going to find a way to have a couple of losses. That guys may be talented, they're in the right spot, they just have not the experience yet to understand what it takes to play in a game for a full 60 minutes.
And I'll say this too, you know.
Illegal kick out of bounds against the kicking team. That ball will be placed at the 35-yard line, first down.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I'll say on that play, yeah, as a member of the secondary, and you know this, Keith, playing in the back end, your coach always tell you, you're the last line of defense. And when you make plays, the opposing team's fight song is playing. And there you see Jason Hall with an interception in the end zone, and he has a fumble, and then you come back. Here's some of the mistakes that we're talking about here. You get an opportunity to get off of the field. Jason Hall probably should have taken a knee there, but I like the return. But look how loose he's holding the football. Another young player, only in his second season starting. And so if you're that back line, you've got to do a better job of being a lid.
Gerard Hurd to throw. He's got his receiver. It's Amani Foreman. And Foreman will be marked down at the 46-yard line. It's enough for a first down. Jay Norvell with the play calling duties tonight. Sean Watson demoted during the week. But to the point about playing freshmen, Texas is playing a lot of young players, freshmen, true sophomore, redshirt freshmen. Well, sometimes that means patience. And will patience be tolerated if this is a season where this program does have to endure growing pains? As Hurd, another redshirt freshman, gets to midfield. Will this fan base, will the local media, will the folks around this program and within the program tolerate a season that doesn't end with a postseason berth?
It does if you're showing growth. If you're seeing it, you're coming as a fan and you're looking at this and, hey, we're going places. It's just a matter of time. These guys are going to get educated, they're going to get experience, and you're going to go places. If you're not showing forward progress, so to speak, that's a different story.
And that was the issue last week. First game of the season, Texas got annihilated in South Bend, and everybody who had heard progress and patience all offseason said, hang on, we'll buy in, but we've got to see something, and you didn't see anything last week.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, 163 yards of total offense, and most of that on one play.
Jonathan Gray stopped on third down, so fourth down coming up in Rice territory. And let's see what Charlie Strong decides to do here.
I think you got to punt the football away here. Offense wants to stay on the field. They want to go for it, but I think you got to punt it away and try to back up the Owls.
Michael Dixon with his first punt attempt today. He was busy last week. Had 10 punts against Notre Dame. In fact, Texas in that game last Saturday, 10 punts, 8 completions.
That's bizarre every time you say it.
Good punt there by Dixon, the Australian, downed inside the 15, a 34-yard punt. No return. Beautiful Lady Bird Lake in downtown Austin. It's 21-7 Longhorns.
Texas Texas football on Longhorn Network, presented by HEB, is brought to you by Yamaha, makers of Viking side-by-sides. Yamaha, real world tough.
Javon Felix, one of the guards for the Texas basketball team. He had that one taken away from him. He made a few clutch shots for the Longhorns over the last few years. 1st and 10 Rice. Ball at the 13-yard line of the Owls. Davis to Sam Stewart. And Stewart to the 20 for a gain of 7. Rice only got 13 yards on 11 plays in its first 3 drives. Different story in the last 2. And Keith, look at time of possession.
Well, that just jumps off the page. Now, obviously, you want the 2 punt returns. That's the 3rd phase of the game, and Texas has dominated in that. One for a touchdown, the other one 56 yards that set up the second score. But offensively, Rice has done what they wanted to. They've controlled the clock.
I've been really impressed with 24 and white. Sam Stewart, a tough runner. We've seen a number of times the initial tackler has not brought him down. And on his touchdown, it looked like he was down, kept his balance, kept on going, and got in for 6.
Yeah, and they're doing it right up the gut behind Spencer Stanley, Peter Godber, and Connor Patterson. And he's just getting his pads in front of him and keeping those legs churning, and he's picking up yardage in the middle of the field.
Almost 7 a carry. Texas crowds the box. Stewart again. And how about this young Rice offensive line?
Well, you start on the outside for Calvin Anderson, the big left tackle for me, making his 2nd career start. Obviously, Caleb Williams, Ahmad, he's that guy that you lean on because he's been there. And they got Andrew back at left guard. He was out last week, and he's had 24 starts. So you've got 3 guys making their 2nd career starts here tonight.
And you see Stanley at center, but we've seen a lot of Trey Martin, who's only a sophomore. Play clock down to 3. Again on the ground. And this is Dillard, who's about a yard shy of the first down marker. Malik Jefferson on the stop.
Yeah, and that time Vance Bedford trying to pack it in the box as Rice is starting to get some momentum on the ground. That time had both safeties in coverage, allowing the guys in the box the opportunity to try to shut down the run.
A 3rd and 1 up the middle again, and it's enough for a first down. I'm thinking of what Charlie Strong told us yesterday when we were talking about these 3rd and short situations. He said we were calling plays in the Notre Dame game when we were throwing the ball on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. He said who cares if they put 8 in the box? If the running back can beat his guy, that can be good enough, and Rice is doing just that.
Absolutely. They had more guys there, did Texas, than Rice had blockers, but the running back won the road.
Austin Walter comes in to spell Stewart. Rice had 401 yards rushing last week against Wagner. This time to the air. Jackson pumps over the middle, receiver open, but the pass too high for Zach Wright. And it's 2nd and 10.
And that time trying to get the Texas defense with play action, and that's what you do when you're able to run the football. You see it here on the edges. Just a seam route, they call that a dagger, a stop on the outside, and a guy running right up the middle to put pressure, of course, on the safety. Jackson once again standing tall in the pocket.
Stewart back in here on 2nd and 10. Speed option. Jackson will keep it. And he's down at the 40-yard line, a gain of 4. It'll bring up 3rd and 5. Well, Jackson and this coaching staff are well aware that he has to limit the amount of damage that he takes. It's still early in the season. And David Bailiff told us for Rice, the goal is to win Conference USA. Picked 2nd in the Conference USA West Division. As a player is down, it's Calvin Anderson, the redshirt freshman left tackle. Will step aside. 6:17 to go, first half. Number 66 for Rice, Calvin Anderson, and Austin Kidd went down at the end of the last play. And his helmet went into Malik Jefferson's knee.
You're going to see him right here to your screen. The young man goes right at Malik's knee. That's a doozy.
3rd down and 5. Texas again crowds the box, brings the pressure. Here's Parks fighting for extra yardage and able to pick up the first down. Keith, to go back to Calvin Anderson, a redshirt freshman from Westlake High in Austin.
One of the smartest young men I've ever met. I had the opportunity last week to take a Rubik's Cube, hand it to him, mixed up, and in 19 seconds, he put it back in order. Now, a lot of folks may not know what that is, but I promise you, I have never been able to complete one in my lifetime. He did it in 19 seconds.
With instructions.
Did you time? Now, you timed him 19 seconds?
19 seconds.
Wow. Stewart to midfield. You know, that's the thing with Rice, though. Such a high standard for academics. It's known nationwide for that. They recruit a certain type of player, and I thought David Bailiff had a great line when we talked to him. He said he's as worried about headhunters as he is about agents. In fact, he had a player poached from his team early because he got a 6-figure job in the energy sector.
That's fantastic.
Going pro, but in a completely different field.
And a starter as well.
Yeah, Brian Nordstrom off the defensive line. Jackson flushed and heaves it out of bounds. It'll bring up 3rd down and 8.
Well, that was a nice job by Jackson the first time right here. You can see Malik Jefferson's coming hard off the corner, and Jefferson's doing a much better job. He gets by Stewart right here and then to the outside, and then Bryfus Jackson does a nice job that time. I'm not taking a hit, get it out of bounds, live to play another down.
These are the situations in which Texas struggled defensively last week. Notre Dame had 5 conversions when it was 3rd and at least 7. Jackson over the middle. He's got Parks, slips one tackle, and Parks to the 40-yard line for a first down. So again, 3rd and long, and Rice able to convert.
One of the things that Vance Bedford told us this week in our meetings, he said, guys, we're in position to make plays. We got to make plays. You had an opportunity right there to come up with a tackle, Ahmad, behind the chains and force a punt. Couldn't make the play.
Yeah, and that was Bryfus Jackson's last read. You know, it was coverage downfield.
Sure.
You've got to make that play in the middle of the field if you're Malik Jefferson.
Off play action. Jackson hit as he throws it going downfield. And his receiver James Maiden got all turned around. No penalty marker on the play. 2nd and 10.
Bryce Cottrell and Hassan Ridgeway all in the pocket, completely disrupting his ability to step into his throw. You see it here. Just watch the push from 98 up front and 91. Bryce Cottrell, who had an outstanding spring game. And John Bonney trying to match up in press coverage. It's a double move there. They were trying to take a shot over the top. Ball just thrown outside.
Press coverage on the outside. Option. Stewart gets the edge and pushed out of bounds by Nashawn Hughes. A gain of 2.
A lot of different defensive fronts we've seen here in this drive. He tried coming after the quarterback. They tried to lay back and rush 3 and play 8 back. They brought the safeties down trying to stop the run. Biggest play of the drive here, though.
And another one of these 3rd and longs that Vance Bedford talked about.
Giving up 2 third downs consecutively here on this drive.
Low snap. Jackson in traffic, and he finds Dennis Parks 4th catch for Parks. This one good for 13, and Rice able to move the chains again.
It was one of our highlights early in the game. And Ahmad, we talked about it. You and I were looking at each other. I said, hey, this guy coming back will be a big plus for Rice, and he showed that so far in the ballgame.
Yeah, he has, but you've got to get pressure when you rush for, and Texas there, once again, a clean pocket for Dreyfus Jackson to throw the ball downfield.
Jackson in trouble. Escapes inside the 20, and he's going to be marked down right at the first down marker. Jefferson on the stop once again, and it is enough to move the chains.
Well, he just buys time with his feet here, and this time he's running for his life. The pressure would have gotten to him, but when you have a dual threat quarterback with his type of feet, he buys time, extends the play. Dreyfus Jackson doing what he's done the last 2 seasons.
He's got to be careful, though. You don't want to take too many hits. That was a concern coming into the game. Speed option. Stewart to the 10. Leaping for the end zone. No signal yet.
It's a touchdown.
It is a touchdown.
Wow.
Goes right over the top. The official tried to get out of the way. You couldn't see him. He almost fell down, but he had his hands in the air on the field right here as he leaps. He's not out of bounds there. You can't see the official. And then late, that official right there, just on the boundary, the line judge, it took him about a while, and he finally put those arms up in the air.
Well, did he step out of bounds? They may look at this one. From that angle, it looks like he stayed in. Baryshnikov would be proud.
Guys, that is an athletic move from the redshirt freshman Sam Stewart.
We've seen 2 now on touchdown runs.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, a hush over this crowd here at DKR. Texas 21-0 at the end of 1 quarter. Rice has answered back here in the 2nd quarter, and it is a 1-score game. The pendulum, Ahmad, has swung.
It has. That was sweet.
Rice has made it a 1-score game after a 16-play, 87-yard drive that took almost 7 minutes. And Rice converted 4 third downs on that scoring drive. And now for your turning point, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Jason Hall with the interception on the return, a bit too ambitious. That led to a fumble. Rice able to score. Rice would get it back and then score again, at both times athletic plays by freshman running back Sam Stewart.
Yeah, right now he's got 12 rushes for 78 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6.5 a pop. He's been the best ball carrier all night long. Sam Stewart, the redshirt freshman from Cypress, Texas.
Anish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks, Keith Moreland, Jane Slater down on the field. Miscommunication. The ball rolls into the end zone, and Texas will have it at the 25-yard line. Keith, you look at time of possession. Almost 21 minutes for Rice, less than 6.5 for Texas.
Well, that's what Rice needed to do. But the number that jumps off the page, 44 plays from scrimmage in the first half from the Rice Owls. 15.
That is amazing.
I'll count it again. 15 for Texas.
Yeah, this Texas defense has been on the field for what seems like the entire first half. Remember, 2 of the scoring drives by Texas, well, one really wasn't a drive. It was an 85-yard punt return. The other set up after a 56-yard punt return, and poor communication there by Foreman and Gray.
Well, at least got on the football, got it down.
Hurd hit as he throws it, and it's ruled an incomplete pass. Destry White, who plays that cat position, got into the backfield.
Yeah, this kid is a hybrid. He can blitz, he can cover. Here, number 13, bringing Hood to number 13. Just a fine play. Hurd trying to get in rhythm, but it's hard to do that when you got guys in your face.
Deontay Foreman in the backfield here on 2nd and 10. Gerard Hurd made his first career start tonight And we have not seen Tyrone Swoops. Hurd throwing one downfield, and it's incomplete. That time intended for Amani Foreman, but there is a flag. VJ Banks, the sophomore from Bryan, on the coverage.
Yeah, it's something about that matchup they must like. They've gone to it a few times tonight in one-on-one coverage.
Might have been that he was out of bounds and came back inbounds.
Pass interference, offense number 3. Half the distance to the goal, replay second down.
You saw the Rice Owls secondary start to clap. Couldn't figure out what it was, but you can see Foreman push off with his right hand. You can see it on the ISO right out here. Watch that right hand. Just reach out, push the receiver away when the ball's in the air, trying to get separation. That backs up Texas.
We said it during the broadcast. Whatever optimism existed about this Texas football team going into the season was extinguished last week. The first quarter made you think maybe this Longhorn team could dominate a Rice team that it historically has. Well, now in the second quarter, a lot of the same fears this fan base has have crept up once again. Second and long. Hurd is going to run. And a big run early in the game, and he dives to the 26-yard line, a gain of 13.
But he does have electric stuff once he finds space, Amadi. He can make things happen. Now they're trying to go hurry up here on a third down.
I marked him down at the 24, so 3rd and 11. Less than 2 minutes to go in the half. Low snap. Hurd flushed, looking for some room. Nothing there, and he's tackled for a loss. And let's see if Rice calls timeout now as the clock continues to run.
Watch Gerard Hurd's eyes right here. He feels the pressure. His eyes get down. He stops looking downfield. At this point, he becomes a runner. Might have been just a hair quick of dropping his eyes from down the field and decided to run maybe just a little bit too quick there. Again, a little inexperienced.
Not a good punt, and it goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. It's going to be marked inside the Texas 40, only a 14-yard punt, and Rice with a chance to tie the game going into the locker room.
That's a tale of two quarters. I mean, it's just like everything that could go right in the first quarter went right. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong here in the second quarter.
And this Texas defense, which is probably at least somewhat gassed, they've been on the field for most of this first half, now has to come up with a stop. Otherwise, Rice has a chance to get more points before they go into the locker room. David Bailiff with 2 timeouts, 1:06 to go. Dreyfus Jackson comes back out, and he's got Sam Stewart in the backfield. They give us the Stewart on first down, and boy, is he a tough runner. To the 36-yard line, a gain of a couple. Clock continues to run. Derek Dillard back into the game now at running back. Jackson steps up, checks down, has his receiver. It's Maiden, and Maiden is going to be close to a first down. And now Rice will stop the clock. They call a timeout with 35 seconds to go. Sam Stewart has been the offensive star in the first half for Rice. 13 carries, 81 yards, and a couple of acrobatic touchdown runs.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and if you're just now tuning in, he's been the best running back this evening. You see him here, I mean, just running through tacklers. Initial contact today has not brought this kid down. He's running like a madman back there, but if you think he doesn't have athleticism, this is Sports Center top 10 action right there. Over the top, not through him, over the top. He's found his rhythm tonight, and if I'm Rice, I continue to feed this guy the ball into the second half, and even now, since you do have, I believe, you've got 1 timeout remaining, so if you wanted to stick it up the gut one more time, you could.
That play, Sports Center top 10 worthy. Rice fans out there might be wondering, do we have a chance to lead Sports Center?
Maybe right. This would be the lead. It's been a crazy day, though, today. Upsets all over the place.
We saw Toledo beat Arkansas and Little Rock. Jacksonville State nearly stunned Auburn. Notre Dame needed a late miracle to get past Virginia. Dillard picks up a first down. And that'll momentarily stop the clock with 34 seconds to go. Rice still has a timeout. Jackson will spike the ball. 31 seconds to go. First half. David Bailiff and his team, when we talked to him this week, when we saw him on the field during walkthrough yesterday, so loose, so confident. And for Dreyfus Jackson, the quarterback, he played at Cedar Hill. He's played in some big games.
Yeah.
He grew up a Texas fan. This is part of his dream, to play in this stadium. And after a slow start, he's played well here in this first half. Jackson able to recover. Going long in coverage, intercepted. Picked off by Dylan Haynes. And Haynes will run out of bounds near the 23. Second interception thrown by Dreyfus Jackson.
Yeah.
Both in the end zone.
Yeah, for Dylan Haynes, this is sweet, because let me explain to you why. This young man was awarded a scholarship a year ago after being a walk-on, but I can tell you this much. When you watch him up top here, this is your guy, Dylan Haynes. Watch him throughout this play. Last week had some issues playing inside the end zone, too high in zone. This time underneath, at the right position, able to undercut the route and get a big turnover for Texas as Rice had some momentum going in, and to finish the play. This is where his game needs to progress. Number 14, Dylan Haynes, for him to be a playmaker in this defense. Ball hawking skills is something that he's shown as a scout team player. Now Texas is asking him to do it on Saturdays.
And let's see what Texas does. 20 seconds to go. They have 3 timeouts. Gibbs to Foreman. And he rumbles for a first down, a gain of a dozen to the 35. Our game day crew will break down the first half on the Texas Game Day halftime, presented by HEB. Lowell Galindo, Vince Young, Ricky Williams. Hurd breaks one. There is a flag as he gets into Rice territory. It's a gain of 24, but a penalty marker back at the Texas 40.
Holding. Offense number 76. Have penalties decline. That's the end of the half.
A strong start by Texas, 21 straight in the first quarter, but that momentum muted by Rice in the second quarter.
I think there was 2 things that I really saw early in the game. Texas used the emotion of the crowd early in the game, and Rice didn't give into that in the second quarter. They definitely won the second quarter, right back in the ballgame.
Jane Slater with Charlie Strong.
Coach, how would you assess the play of your quarterback, Gerard Hurd, his first career start in this first half?
Well, he's done well. We just haven't got the offensive ball enough. We just got to get off the field on defense and give him more opportunities.
What did you think of that pick by Dylan Haynes heading into this half in a 7-point game?
Well, we needed that. We had one before that. We fumbled it back to him, but we can get the turnovers. We just got to break on the ball.
Will we see any of Tyrone's swoops in the second half?
Well, it depends on how the game goes.
Appreciate it, Coach. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jane, time to get it to our game day crew for halftime. Here's Lowell Galindo.
Texas Game Day halftime, presented by HEB.
Thank you.
Games against Rice should not be this exciting. But it was exciting initially for Texas because this started off about as good as you possibly could want it. Livermore Orange. Gerard Hurd gets in his first drive. Lamonte Foreman, great adjustment. You got the flow on that 53-yard touchdown to make it 7-0 after a couple of key punt returns. One for a touchdown and one by Duke Thomas to set up a Jay Bray touchdown. It was 21-0. But all of a sudden, Rice finds something. They close the gap. And Ricky, if it's not for that Dylan Haynes interception in the end zone, we're talking maybe about a...
It was a tale of two quarters in the first half. Texas jumped out to a 21-0 lead. Rice responded with a pair of second-quarter touchdowns. It's a one-score game at the half in Austin. Anish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks, Keith Moreland. You'll hear from James Slater in a little bit. Ahmad, you look at this first half, Texas made the perfect opening statement, but the way they followed it up, everything you thought about this team that maybe was allayed a little bit, well, now that's come back to the surface.
Look, Rice had more yards in the second quarter than Texas does total yards. And if you're asking me going into this game, I personally thought Texas needed to blow this team out in order to get the confidence they needed, and they were doing it with these types of plays early on in the game. And once again, you see here, up back, Duke Thomas probably should have fair caught the ball, but he didn't. Squeaks through, picks up some serious yardage. Once again, Texas with a short field, and they punch it in.
They do that. They do take advantage of it, and then late in the game, Jason Hall with a pick right here could have really stopped the momentum for Rice, but he comes back down the field. Rice does a good job of stripping. They get the ball back, and then they get right into the end zone. Stewart with just two outstanding runs to make it a 21-14 ball game. This is a highlight reel right there.
Wow. That was pretty.
Texas will receive to start this third quarter as Rice kicks off. Foreman from the 5. Taken down at the 23-yard line. A moment ago, James Slater spoke to Rice head coach David Bailiff.
Coach, how do you think your team handled this Texas offense in the first half?
You know, I think we handled their offense very well. You know, I was really proud of the way we battled back from 21 down. It's been 2 special teams plays and turnovers. We got to eliminate those turnovers, and when we have an opportunity to tackle, we just got to tackle. But I'm proud of how the effort we played with.
What was your message to the team at the half?
Just keep having fun. Let's keep playing hard, you know, and make the plays when we can make them. We had people there. We just missed the tackle. You know, had receivers open. We just got to hit them. We're going to be okay. Just got to play a little harder and make plays.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Well, they'll re-kick after an offsides penalty against Rice.
Got to be pretty happy if you're David Bailiff of how the first half ended, even though you would love to come away with points on that last possession, Ahmad. But his team did withstand a 21-point surge in the first quarter, outgained Texas entirely for the ball game so far in the second quarter, where they put up 167 yards to Texas 157 total in the first half.
And Ahmad, to your point, and this is no disrespect to Rice, you're up 21-0, you're Texas. The expectation is you go ahead and stomp your opponent from there. Foreman lassoed at the 30-yard line. Looking at the first half statistics, Rice more rush yards, Rice more pass yards, more total yards for the Owls, more first downs, better on third down. At time of possession, Texas, most importantly, leads on the scoreboard.
Yeah, time of possession is simple. Look at third downs. 8 of 12 for Rice. You can't get off the field. They're going to have the ball longer than you. So this Texas defense, I'm sure the challenge in the locker room from Vance Bedford, get off the field on third downs.
Gerard Hurd making his first career start. Back in at quarterback for Texas to start the third quarter. Hurd off play action, going deep for the freshman John Burt. He's got Burt, and Burt is gone. Explosive plays have been the story for Texas tonight. 69 yards, Hurd to Burt.
That was the best deep ball we've seen all season long. Play action, right? Gerard Hurd, clean pocket with an opportunity to throw to John Burt, the true freshman. This kid's a track star. Was a hurdler, sprinter in high school, and he shows his speed there, getting behind coverage and putting points on the board.
And Texas with an emphatic opening salvo here in the third to go back up 2 scores. Burt had a 48-yard reception against Notre Dame. That was 29% of the offense in that game. He beats Ryan Pollard 69 yards to the house. An exclamation point to start the third for Texas. Gerard Hurd, a 69-yard touchdown pass, his second of the game, and it goes to the true freshman out of Tallahassee, John Burt.
Yeah, I want you to watch at the top of your screen here this safety. This safety is going to spin down right here, and you're going to see Gerard Hurd recognize it, and he's going to know at that point he's got one-on-one coverage with the sprinter, John Burt. And this young man has been making catches like this all fall camp, but Gerard Hurd has not been making throws like this. I'm completely shocked with his rhythm of the throw, the way he got into it, and led a very fast wide receiver into the end zone. The best play he's made all season long.
Ahmad, you and Keith have been at a lot of practices. Have you ever seen Hurd make a throw like that in the time that you've been there?
I have not, and the reason I'm saying that is not that he wasn't playing hard, not that he wasn't trying hard, but there are certain guys, and Ahmad, I think you were one of them when you played as well. When the lights come on and the crowd gets in the seats, there are guys that stepped up to another level. We're seeing that tonight for number 13.
You're right, and everybody said this kid's a gamer. Well, I don't know what that means. It's hard for him to show his skills and be the explosive runner that he can be in practice because he's in a red jersey. So tonight you've seen him use his feet and you've seen him use his arm as he's thrown 2 touchdown passes for the Longhorns.
Sam Stewart gets the call on first down, pushes the pile to the 30 for a gain of 5 yards. And if you're Jay Norvell, the new play caller for Texas, you've got to like what you've seen from the redshirt freshman, Gerard Hurd. There have been some moments where he's looked like a freshman, but he's made a couple of throws with his arm, and he's made a few plays with his feet as well.
Well, I think one of the things that you've got to understand and notice about a young man is, we'll get to it after this play, as they do look to the sidelines. But for me, it's the fact is how he's handling the pressure of being in an environment like this.
Another one of the talented freshmen, Chris Boyd, and number 2 in the game at cornerback. This is Dillard, still on his feet, still churning, and he looks to have enough for a first down.
Yeah, one of the concerns I'm really seeing out of this defense right now, we saw it in the second quarter. Rice was manhandling Texas up front. We saw it a week ago with what I thought was maybe one of the best offensive line in college football in Notre Dame. Today, though, you can see Rice, that group up front, those big fellas, are really wearing down the Texas front and gaining yardage right up the gut.
Getting a great push.
And this is a Rice offensive line with just one player who starts, who tips the scale at over 300 pounds.
That's impressive.
Again on the ground. And this time it's Austin Walter. So we've seen the 3-headed monsters, Stewart, Dillard, and Walter. The lead back is Juwan Davis. He's out with an ankle injury.
Just doing such a really nice job of sealing down to the inside. It's nothing fancy up front, Ahmad. They brought 2 guys down, kicked 1 guy out with the off guard, coming on a little pull, and they run that power lead in there, and they're getting a good push.
Rice taking its time. They've let the play clock bleed pretty much all night. Jackson looking toward Parks. And that ball is caught. That was Boyd who made a dive for it. He tried to get greedy. Boyd had a terrific game last week on special teams.
This kid's going to be a ball player now. Look at the instinct there. That's great movement. And he went with 2 hands. And I'll tell you this much. This kid can hit. He can cover. But once again, Jackson with a clean pocket, able to make that throw.
Again on the ground, Stewart with a defender on his jersey, taken down at the 43-yard line for a gain of 12.
Boy, they're just doing an outstanding job of getting seals. They're sealing to the outside, each side. and just watch this right in the middle of the line. They get a good seal. I mean, a pancake block. Offensive front for Rice has won the ball game to this point, not on the scoreboard. Difference in the game, 2 returns.
I would agree.
Hunt in motion. Again on the ground. This is pure smash mouth football. And Sam Stewart again grinding for 8. Keith, it's one thing to see Notre Dame bully Texas up front. They've got Ronnie Stanley and a couple of other guys who could be playing on Sunday down the road. This has to be concerning that Rice is physically handling Texas up front.
Well, there's no question about it. You've got to stop the run. We opened the broadcast with identity. And your identity when you're a football team is we're going to stop the run. Our guys up front are going to stop it. And you can see right there, Rice, 55 plays in the ball game, most of that on the ground, quite frankly. And injured player as Jenkins makes his way to the sideline. But just look at the time of possession, and it's been methodical. It is 5, 6, 7 yards. That's how you stay ahead of the chains.
Yeah, there haven't been any flea flickers or double reverses. David Bailiff tried something on the opening kickoff. It's been the only time he's really used any trickery against Texas. It's been lining up and plowing forward, as you said, for enough yards to continuously move the chains.
Yeah, the longer you stay out on the field, too, you wear down those guys in the middle. Texas just brought in a new wave of players, Desmond Jackson, along with it looks like Paul Boyette in the middle, but they need more out of those guys to be able to prevent Rice from getting yardage on first down and making it 3rd and short.
This time it's the quarterback, Jackson, on the keeper, and he muscles his way to the 29-yard line, a gain of 7.
Boy, this is a really nice. This is a really nice design play. You fake the pitch, that freezes, puts Hughes outside, and it is tuck up in there. Now, if you're Jackson, you don't want to take a lot of hits, but that was a well-designed play to get the first down.
Stewart runs into a phalanx of burnt orange at the 26. He picks up 3 more. And as we keep saying, this isn't anything fancy.
That's the 17th rush of the night for Sam Stewart for 108 yards. You look at that. Those are really good numbers right there.
Great night.
Tell you what, this team is going to be tough to beat in Conference USA. Dillard that time dropped behind the line. Edwin Freeman got there first. The ball came out. Texas says they have it.
On the field is a fumble recovered by Texas. First down.
And the Longhorns do have it.
Yeah, Freeman there, you just see him, a fine job on the backside of getting there, and that right hand, that left and right hand around the football just gets it out, and Texas with another big turnover here. As Rice was gaining some momentum, they started churning that machine, but Texas coming up with a turnover to stop them dead in their tracks.
Paul Boyette recovered it, the junior. Edwin Freeman forced the fumble. Freeman, another freshman. And for Rice, 3 turnovers, all 3 in Texas territory. You're trying to win a game against a team that's physically bigger, faster, stronger. Can't turn it over 3 times in their territory.
How about the plays made by the freshmen? Burt, Hurd, Freeman.
Good point.
Jefferson. Just those names start coming off the page.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Delay of game on Texas. Well, the question for Texas is, these freshmen may be able to do enough tonight. What about against Cal next week? What about once you get into the meat of Big 12 play?
Look, the way I saw most of them, and the majority of them play last week on the road at Notre Dame and South Bend, look, I don't think these kids are scared. And if you can go into that environment and perform, you can perform against Cal at home.
Hurd to the air, under pressure, gets away from Espinoza. Chased by Womack. And Hurd able to throw it out of bounds. Good pursuit that time by 44 and white. Brian Womack, who had a big game against Wagner last week.
We did have a big game, but what's impressing me, Ahmad and I both looked at each other instantly. Not only did he get outside, but he had the presence of mind right here. Make that decision. I got to get rid of it, get out of bounds, live to play another day.
Chris Warren in the backfield. Chris Warren the third. Dad was a former Pro Bowler with the Seahawks. And here is Warren. And he's to the 25-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and about 11. Warren, another freshman. His dad played more than a decade in the NFL, and in 1994, Chris Warren Jr. led the AFC in rushing, second only in the NFL to Barry Sanders.
Or if you're going to be second to somebody, you might as well be
That's
Barry
the guy.
Sanders.
Good point. Isn't that the truth?
Play clock under 10. Hurd running the speed option. He'll pitch it. Warren gets popped. And maybe got a yard or two. Tackled by J.P. Thompson. 4th down.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on at the line of scrimmage, but it seemed as though Hurd saw something he didn't like. He audible, checked the play off, and tried to run it into the teeth of the blitz that was coming off of the right side. That time, though, they did a nice job of stringing it out to the sideline and holding true to their responsibilities. That Rice defense gets off the field again.
Michael Dixon to punt. Sam Stewart, the deep man. And the Australian sent Stewart back inside his own 30-yard line. Texas with a 69-yard touchdown on its first series of the 3rd quarter. Longhorns by 14. '94th meeting all time between two former rivals from the now defunct Southwest Conference. Rice has been able to move the ball on Texas. The last 2 drives, though, have ended with turnovers in Longhorn territory.
Yeah, and that's surprising. Rice last year only had 12 lost turnovers all of last season. That was a school record. 1 behind the national leader, Oregon. Tonight, 3 turnovers and already 6 on the season. And you see the points off of turnover. That's 10-point swing there. And Rice, as you heard Bailiff say to Jane, they've got to protect the football to have a shot here to win.
The first turnover didn't hurt much because off the interception, Jason Hall for Texas fumbled it, and Rice was able to recover. Jackson throws it open, receiver, and he threw it too far in front of Zach Wright. Oh, that was a missed opportunity for a big play by Rice.
Really well designed play. Now this is a blitz coming, and then all of a sudden you catch a little out and up. You got the slot receiver on what is basically a wheel route. Watch him break to the outside, act like he's going to block, and then wheel around after the outside receiver comes on a deep post. He's wide open.
Now that was Malik Jefferson bringing the heat. Speed option. Jackson will pitch it. Ball hits the ground. Picked up by Jefferson, and a defensive touchdown by Texas.
Well, guys, 2 more freshmen again. Watch the pop from number 2, Chris Boyd. He did it last week on punt return, taking one of the ball carrier's heads nearly off. And now watch him come out of your screen from nowhere. And I mean, bring the wood. The pop there. And when things are going your way, those types of balls fall into your hand. And for Texas right now, the defense creating those turnovers we just talked about, but also having an opportunistic defense that can also get it in the end zone.
We had a chance to spend some time with Malik Jefferson yesterday. He's a true freshman.
Yeah.
His maturity blew all of us in the room away.
Through the roof.
Texas has been opportunistic, and the true freshman gives the Longhorns a 3-touchdown cushion.
Texas football on Longhorn Network, presented by HEB, is brought to you by Cooper Tires. Get up to a $70 reward during the Cooper Tire Take the Money and Ride event.
Special teams and the defense have been the story for Texas tonight, as we get some vintage SD footage of, I don't even know if that is SD. SD may have been a grade up from the old grainy reels, but this rivalry dates back to 1914. Malik Jefferson is a true freshman, 18 years old, from Mesquite, Texas. We had a chance to spend some time with him, told us he wants to get into finance, wants to be an entrepreneur. He even had a light moment with us when we asked him, so who does your game remind us of? And he said, you know, before I say Von Miller, I go, I can't use that anymore because he played at another school whose names I don't want to say. So he goes, I got to be Derek Johnson since I'm in Austin.
Smart kid. We talked about this freshman class. Gerard Hurd hooking up with Foreman for the first score there, and then goes back to John Burt, who just blew by the coverage on his way to the end zone. And then Boyd bidding the big hit, and then it falls right to Malik Jefferson. And that's what happens when you hustle, you play with heart, you play with effort. But the top performers here tonight, it's clear to see that they're making an impact for their team.
Meanwhile, the fifth-year senior Dreyfus Jackson looking to get Rice back into this game. Still plenty of time, and the Owls have been able to move the football. Sam Stewart bounces off a couple of tacklers, gets to the 30-yard line. And Stewart continues to churn up to 110 yards.
You and I both know Vance Bedford pretty well, Ahmad, and he's going to go to guys and use guys that are making plays. And we've seen some different personnel these last two possessions for Rice.
Yeah, another freshman corner in now, number 5, left corner, Holton Hill, also in the ball game.
Stewart looking for running room, a yard shy of the first down. Jane has more on Malik Jefferson.
On Friday, and he told us, you know, he has the utmost respect for a guy like Vince Young, but it's his goal to get people to stop talking about him. And I assure you, he said that with the utmost respect. He says that's just because that's all anybody talks about around Texas, and he wants to usher in a new era. I also talked about his composure with him, and I said, where does that come from? He says his godfather and his mother got him involved in yoga. He takes classes online, and he says it helps put him in a peaceful state of mind, rather, ahead of these games, guys.
Well, he plays like a veteran, and he's played like one the last 2 weeks. Texas blows that play up in the backfield. Poona Ford got there first, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, and they brought a Cobra blitz from the outside. You'll see it at the top of your screen. Holton Hill, but it was the penetration from Poona Ford that got this team on top of it and off the field. This Texas defense trying to find its rhythm and really trying to win the game and seal the victory on that side of the ball.
You know, the Texas coaches have said if the competition is close between an upperclassman and a freshman or one of the younger guys, they're going to play the younger guy. This is DJ Johnson. He's taken one punt back. And that was a lot of Tecmo Bowl running. He gets to the 31-yard line. All that for a 2-yard return, but got in some more cardio than you get for 2 yards.
No doubt, no doubt.
When he touches it, there's a lot of things can happen.
Texas with the ball, 6:08 to go in the third here at DKR. Texas scored the first 21 points of the game. Rice answered to make it a 7-point game at the half. Texas with 14 unanswered to start the third, and it has been a completely different narrative this Saturday as compared to last Saturday, and I think you do have to factor in the opponent. You can't be naive about it. Texas should dominate a team by Rice, but from what we've seen from the offense, there still are some concerns on this side of the ball as Jonathan Gray pushes ahead to the 37-yard line. The difference in this game, Keith, is special teams and defense. Offensively, Texas really hasn't had to do too much.
Well, they got one giant play. I mean, the bomb to Burt, you know, the 69-yard play. Other than that, You know, they haven't sustained a drive since the first drive of the ball game where they took it right down the field and scored. So they need to come out here, run the football, establish the run, stay ahead of the chains, and that's not a good way to do it right there. And that goes backwards and push this ball down the field and run clock. They only, going into this possession, folks, this is a serious number. Texas has only had the ball for 10 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yeah. Well, maybe it begs the question, is a tempo offense the right fit here?
Well, you got to get first downs to get tempo to work. They only have 8 in the game tonight offensively.
Hurd checks down. Gray bobbles it, unable to hold on, and it's 4th down. So again, they're an opportunity for the offense to eat some clock, maybe put together a long drive, and it's 3 and out.
Yeah, good play call. You catch them on a charge and you slide Jonathan Gray underneath. That time Hurd struggled to try to get the ball accurately and hit him while in his stride, because he had the corner, and it would have been a foot race between him and the middle of the field guy to try to get to the first down marker. That was a missed opportunity for this offense.
Good punt by Dixon. Stewart's going to let it bounce, and it bounces inside the 10 and goes out of bounds. That's why they got the kid who played a little Australian rules football in Sydney. Well, if you're just joining us and you haven't paid attention to Texas football over the past week, it's been quite a ride. A 38-3 loss in South Bend, Texas, completely manhandled in the game. Charlie Strong said Monday that is not acceptable. He made changes on Tuesday. Sean Watson no longer the primary play caller. That responsibility now in the hands of Jay Norvell. He's calling the play tonight. Norvell hadn't really called plays on a regular basis since 2007 when he was at UCLA. Watson, though, will still hold on to his title for what it's worth of co-offensive coordinator that he shares with Joe Wickline. Jackson throwing downfield. He's got Dennis Parks, who was tackled immediately by Hill. And there is Sean Watson. I know we asked the coaches, what's the staff dynamic when you make this sort of a change? And they gave us the answer you would expect, that, hey, everyone's got to take it like a professional.
And they will take it like a professional. It's a family. It's a group that's been together for a while. It's absolutely nobody wants to have their job title changed. But you got to handle it professionally, and they have so far this week.
Walter gets a yard, 3rd down. Vance Bedford did admit that, yeah, you hurt a little bit when something like this happens. This is a family. These coaches spend a lot of time with each other, especially this time of the year. And remember, Watson was the guy who convinced Charlie Strong to bring Norvell over to Texas. Those two had coached together at Nebraska. Jackson standing tall, and that pass dropped. Cole Hunt, the backup tight end, could not hold on. He's 6'7", he's a big target, not big enough.
Coming. The last 3 3rd downs, we've seen a different look. They're coming after Jackson. That time Vance Bedford brought the house. He was bringing both linebackers and the nickel blitz. He has an opportunity. This is where you coach right here. Get a good play, get a 3 and out, and now you come back and you take a true freshman, as he's doing right there, and say, all right, young man, this is what you did wrong. We got away with it, but you got to slide to this point.
Absolutely.
Faramond to kick. And DeJay Johnson waiting at the 40. Johnson from the 42, nice juke move. Johnson changes direction. Across midfield, uses a blocker. DeJay Johnson still dancing. And finally out of bounds inside the 30-yard line of Rice. A 30-yard return off a 42-yard punt. He's been electric tonight.
Yeah, and some dirty laundry on the field as well. Golly, he just undresses the defenders here. Watch this kid. He's the kind of kid, nice shuffle move there, but that cut right there is what only a few players on the field can do, and number 4 happens to be one of them. Oh, my. You talk about moves for days. The Jay Johnson looking like he is in great form early on in the season.
And if you count Malik Jefferson's 26-yard fumble return for a touchdown, Texas has now had 7 plays of 25 or more yards tonight, including that last one. Jonathan Gray going to the outside, looking for room, spun around, and engulfed in the backfield for a loss of 3 by J.T. eBay.
Positive first down. Still haven't been able to get downhill running the football. When you've got a lead, 2 minutes to go, third quarter, you want to put the game away. Great return, downhill. Still haven't been able to get that downhill running. Now you're behind the chains.
Jay Johnson in the slot here on 2nd and long. Rice brings the pressure. Hurd out of the pocket. He's got room to run if he wants it. He'll take off. Hurd inside the 15, sliding down at the 12-yard line. And a first down by Gerard Hurd, and he does a few push-ups at the end.
Working on those guns, but this is what makes him special. The pressure's there. You get the right play call on defense. Coach Thurman dialed it up right, and number 13 squeaks out and picks up first down yardage. Special play by a guy with special feet.
Hurd again using his feet to the outside. Steps over a defender and picks up 4.
Look at the form on these push-ups from the freshman. What do you think here, Keith? Is that going to work those arms?
I tell you,
Okay.
Get on down. Got his feet together. I didn't see quite up on his fingertips.
Oh, boy. Deontay Foreman into the game at running back for Texas. Hurd at 96 yards rushing. And Foreman with a first down at the 2-yard line. eBay on the stop to save the touchdown.
And you see Gerard Hurd motioning. Let's go. He wants to keep the tempo rolling. A system this young man ran in high school at Denton Guyer. Very familiar with it. And when you get the defense on your heels with an up-tempo offense, you've got to press the gas.
Alex De La Torre into the game. Big number 36. Here's Foreman. Plows into the end zone. That's 241 coming at you.
Yeah, and that's also running behind true freshman Patrick Bahe, along with number 76, Kent Perkins. That time getting the push that was needed to get them into the end zone.
It's all set up, though, by the legs of Gerard Hurd. On the big play after the negative play on 2nd and 13, he makes a big play, separates that drive, and gets him into the end zone.
Has Hurd shown you enough to put the quarterback drama to bed, at least for the short term?
Yeah, it's hard to say that he hasn't, but he's had some help. And you see, the Jay Johnson here has been spectacular tonight, ladies and gentlemen, doing just this, making people miss and making big plays. The senior has looked ready to go. But this is the play you were talking about, Keith. This is what this kid does special. When plays break down, you want an athlete like number 13 with the ball in the hands to do that for your team, and here's what it leads to.
Well, it does, because of the fact is, in space, he makes opponents have to recognize we've got to contain this guy, because if he gets in space, he's going to hurt you. That's what this game has shown us. You know, he's going to be right at 100 yards rushing in the ball game. He's also going to be over 100 yards passing. You know, the last time we've seen a guy that did both of those wore number 10 on his wore number 10 on his chest.
I'll tell you what, Charlie Strong may want to bottle up that halftime speech for the future. 21 points in the third quarter tonight. You saw what they had done in the previous 12 games in the third quarter.
You're right, yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah, they just couldn't get it going coming out after half, but good adjustments, and the team came out with the right mindset to put it in the end zone.
Texas now with its biggest lead of the game, 42-14, 105 to go here in the third. The Longhorns entered this game having won 40 of the last 41 against Rice, 12 in a row. Rice's last win of the series, 94. The Owls' last win in Austin, 1965, 50 years ago.
Texas scored 48 points in one game last year. That was a 48-45 win against Iowa State here at DKR. First time they've been back over that 40-point margin in the last 2 years.
And I believe that game was also on Longhorn Network, wasn't it?
It was an overtime game right here.
Jackson threw off his back foot, 2nd and 10. Dreyfus Jackson, 10 for 22, 97 yards. He's thrown a couple of interceptions.
Starting to feel that pressure in on his feet. He's one of those guys that really needs to step into his throw. That time you can see, that front foot did not get extended where he got flat-footed. That usually leads to a high throw, and it did.
Rice will keep it on the ground. A gain of 3 for Stewart as he's swarmed. Less than a minute to go in the third. Movement up front, no flag. Jackson to the air, and was he able to thread that one in there? He did to Derek Dillard. And it's a first down, a gain of 8.
This is paying for a catch right here, though. Dillard just gets his body in a position, and he gets blown up right as the football gets there, just enough to get the first down. You can see the difference as Jackson really stepped into that throw that time.
Austin Walter in at running back. But no play for Rice as the third quarter comes to an end. Smokey signals the start of the fourth. 42-14. That third quarter belonged to the freshman. The night has belonged to the freshman.
It did. Big plays, scores. Texas up 42-14.
Start of the fourth quarter here at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. And Texas looking to make it 16 straight wins in home openers. Longhorns up 42-14 on Rice. 1st and 10 for the Owls. Austin Walter in the backfield. Play clock down to 2. Dreyfus Jackson, the 5th-year senior, slings one to Dennis Parks. 7 catches now for Parks. Well, that one Hellraiser, I don't think anybody's ever said he's too small to be a stormtrooper.
These are my people right here.
That's a Texas-sized stormtrooper.
Come rain, whatever, sleet, snow, they will be in the house making noise.
On 2nd and 3. Walter about a half-yard shy of the first down, 3rd and inches.
I'll tell you what a difference a quarter makes. In the second quarter for Texas, guys, they had 9 plays from scrimmage. Only 62 yards. They didn't put a point on the board. Third quarter, they only had 12 plays from scrimmage for 104 yards, but they put 21 points on the board. A lot of times, it's about where you are on the field and the explosive plays, and that's what's the difference tonight is explosive plays.
Well, Stewart has been a bright spot for Rice, over 120 yards rushing. He picks up the first down. And Keith, to your point, Texas needed a night like this. This was a team that had been outscored 117-20 in its previous 3 games. 3 straight losses of 20 or more points for the first time in this school's proud history.
Well, you've got to find a way to be explosive. You got speed, You got guys that are electric on the outside. You got to find a way to get the football to them and then get it done. Obviously, 10 plays tonight of over 25 yards, right at it anyway. One point it was 7. I'm sure there's more than that now.
Jackson over the middle, and that's caught by Stewart. He's to the 44-yard line, a gain of 8. I'll tell you what, Rice has been able to move the ball against this Texas defense. They've just been plagued by some untimely turnovers, and that really has been the difference in this game.
Well, they're going to control the ball for nearly 40 minutes in the game and come up on the losing end.
Jackson slings one back to Stewart, breaks one tackle, breaks another, and brought down at the 34-yard line by Duke Thomas, a gain of 9. Dreyfus Jackson, MVP of the Hawaii Bowl last year. He averaged 15 yards of completion a season ago, which was 3rd in the FBS.
Well, they run the ball so well that usually he gets vertical with his wide receivers. Secondary's done a decent job tonight of keeping things in front of him.
Walter to the 30-yard line. A lot of credit goes to that Rice offensive line tonight.
Yeah, they've been fantastic, and they've really, at times, just won in the trenches. I mean, you see them now. I mean, they're just really leaning on this Texas front as Texas is trying to find the right rotation, get the right guys into the ball game. It helps having a guy like Tank Jackson back in the lineup, coming back from injury, but haven't seen enough from the guys in the middle today to prevent them from running right up the middle.
Rice over 200 yards rushing. Jackson with plenty of time. Now scrambles. Chased by Davis, and that's what David Bailiff wants to see from his 5th-year senior.
Yeah, and then you look at the schedule, too. 2 weeks from now, they're on the road in Waco. You take on a team that's in the top 5 currently. You know, I'll say this much. You win where you can right now. And at the end of this ball game, the coaches for Rice are evaluating who are the guys we can trust, who are the ones who aren't going to quit and give up, and they will continue to fight.
Rice 11 of 17 on 3rd down. Just get the play off. Blitz picked up. Now Rice in trouble. Chased by Tank Johnson. Rice and Jackson with the scramble. Finally brought down by Duke Thomas. They'll bring up 4th.
And Charlie Strong's on the sideline with his arms up, asking the question, what happened to contain here? You see it, Freeman there with the shot to drag him down behind the line of scrimmage. Took a poor angle. And with a guy like Dreyfus Jackson, you've got to make sure you're on top of him, because now they've got a 4th down, 4th and short. That makes it much more manageable.
They'll keep it on the ground. That's Stewart. And it looks like he's going to get a good spot.
Yeah. I'm not going back to just what you said. That is so true. Football is about angles, and especially playing in open fields, space tackling, you got to make sure you do your angles. And when you over pursue and not go from the inside out and always use that sideline, you're going to get that cutback, as we saw right there. Usually that costs you, and that costs you 1st downs, and 1st downs cost you ball game.
Jackson nowhere to go. Texas defended that speed option perfectly.
Hassan Ridgeway, who admitted to us yesterday he didn't have a great game on the road in South Bend. And for Texas to do what they need defensively, you've got to have a guy like this that eats up blocks for a player like Malik Jefferson and Peter Jenkins and Edwin Freeman in the middle of the field. Outstanding season a year ago, but as he said yesterday, he's got to step his game up and be a leader on this defense.
No snap. Jackson steps up, he'll take off. Flag on the play as Jackson slides down at the original line of scrimmage.
Flag's in that spot where usually you see holding at that point.
Holding offense number 75, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, second down.
That's the right tackle, Caleb Williams, the most experienced offensive lineman for Rice.
You see it here at the bottom of your screen. Anytime as an offensive lineman you get that hand up and you're trying to still maintain once someone's turned the corner, incredibly difficult to hold on.
Yeah, he's got his hand right in the back. It's like a horse coddle. You're not getting to my quarterback. That was pretty obvious.
A guy we have not seen very much of tonight is Luke Turner for Rice, which is a little surprising. He got one series in that Wildcat formation. Rice calls it the Owl. He's their jack of all. Jackson to Parks, unable to hold on, and another penalty down back at the 39 of Texas.
Personal foul, hands to the face, number 93 of the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Paul Boyette, the offending party.
Well, sometimes when you're trying to move to get back in a passing situation as a big lineman, you get your hands up because you got to get your hands on the offensive lineman. You can see he's got his hands up there, and that right hand just gets underneath the mask. When you get double teamed right there, he's trying to fight his way through, and when he pushes that right hand, just gets underneath the mask. Cost him 15.
Stewart keeps moving. That first hit does nothing to impede his progress.
Well, and to your point earlier about why number 35 Luke Turner from Gilmer, Texas hasn't gotten a rock a lot, because Sam Stewart he's been the man tonight. You look at his numbers: 24 rushes, 129 yards, 5.4 with 2 touchdowns. He's been productive, he's been reliable, and for this offense for Rice, he's been the MVP.
And Keith, if it was a baseball game in your scorebook, you'd put a star next to those touchdowns.
Absolutely you would. I do all the time. You can hang a star on that one.
Jackson under duress. Able to elude the pursuit, has an opening. Dreyfus Jackson with a night at the Austin Improv.
Well, there's Longhorns laying all over the field. You know, he leaves a lot of people on the ground. This is spectacular, folks. Great effort. Dunk you have him there by Freeman. Then you get guys beating on each other, and then he gets away, and then smart move. He gets down to protect his body. But he gets away from Freeman right there. Boy, I tell you what, it's one of those things where you're just dodging bodies, and he makes something out of nothing.
That's Frogger come to life.
There it is.
Jackson steps up, hits Parks, shakes one defender, and Parks to the 5-yard line. You know, the tackling has not been a strong point for Texas tonight. There have been a lot of missed tackles, a lot of hands-on jerseys, but the guy doesn't come down.
Yeah, and this is surprising because Malik Jefferson is one of those guys that comes to balance. I think to be able to tackle well, come to balance, wrap your arms, and drive your feet. That time when he leaves his feet, that's what prevented him from making that play.
17th play of the drive. Stewart like a pinball, and he's to the 4-yard line, a gain of 2.
Yeah, I mean, just look at those Texas defenders. They're getting up. It's been a long day tackling that kid. Stewart has been a man, and he's running through tacklers left and right.
I'm telling you, if you didn't know what the score of this game was, you just wouldn't believe it if you watched it and nobody ever put a score up.
We got a timeout with 6:46 to go in regulation. Texas in control. Well, beautiful day turned beautiful night in the capital city of Texas, and the Longhorns looking again in the win column for the first time in 2015. Up 42-14. Rice on the doorstep. It's third down. Sam Stewart has rushed for both Rice touchdowns. He's on the right hip of his quarterback, Dreyfus Jackson. Jackson to the air, open receiver, and he's got Temi Alaka for the touchdown.
Incredible drive again. Just a really nice move here on third down. You go in, you design a play, and Ahmad, as a defensive back, that guy releasing to the inside is hard to defend at the goal line.
Yeah, and you've got two freshmen in coverage. I bet they would have wished they would have switched it up there. And as they get more reps, Chris Boyd, Holton Hill have played a lot here in this fourth quarter. As they get more reps, they'll see each other, give each other the eye and say, hey, let's cross this one off. Let's move this one over so that doesn't happen.
Well, a drive that would make Tolstoy proud. 18 plays, 75 yards. It took almost 9.5 minutes off the clock. It ends with a touchdown pass from Jackson to Alaka.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon.
Because it's hard.
Yeah, no doubt.
And John F. Kennedy made that speech 53 years ago today on the campus of Rice. And his words were quoted all week by Rice head coach David Bailiff.
And you can understand why. That's just one of those moments. And, you know, speaking to Coach Bailiff yesterday, he made it very clear. He told his guys, come out here, have fun. Let's get ready for conference play and try to make a run at winning a championship.
And for Rice, this game in many ways is a self-scout. We asked David Bailiff, what do you get out of playing a team like Texas or another Big 12 team? As Johnson has another big return, he's been a special teams star. David Bailiff told us this is a way to find out what your weaknesses are. For Texas, they needed to win tonight because of the season-defining gauntlet that awaits them. You're going to have to score points to keep up with Cal. Then Oklahoma State comes to Austin. TCU on the road with that dynamic offense. And then, of course, the Red River Shootout against Oklahoma on October 10th. And then a bye week before you can gear up for the second half of the season. You look at the win probabilities, the Cal game, the Oak State game, those are the toss-up games. And if you want to go to the postseason, you're going to have to win at least one of those.
Yeah, you're right. And, you know, and these numbers will change when they factor in that there's a new starter for Texas offense. Speaking of that, Tyrone Swoops has now entered the game. But I think today Texas took a step forward, and I mean that. I say that with all due respect. I thought they ran the football. That was something that was lacking when they went on the road to South Bend, just trying to run the football, attempting. And then not only that, I thought the rhythm of the play calls tonight allowed them to get the points when they needed, and special teams and defense were star power.
Tyrone Swoops going downfield, incomplete, intended for Amani Foreman. Foreman wants a flag. There is none. For Swoops, his first action of the evening, Gerard Hurd made his first career start. Part of a week-long shakeup of this Texas offense. Remember, it started when Sean Watson had his play calling duties revoked and receivers coach Jay Norvell was elevated to sole play caller. Swoops hands it off, and that's Deontay Foreman, Amani's twin brother, for a gain of 4. The difference in this game, I was going to say, has been special teams and defense. Have you seen enough from Texas's offense really to give a proper evaluation to Jay Norvell?
You got a one-play drive, a 69-yard pass. You've had an outstanding return game. Johnson has had a gigantic night. The first drive of the game, though, is the one you look back on. That's probably been the best drive overall.
Swoops takes off, slides for a first down.
And you go back to that first drive, just what we saw right there from Swoops coming into the game, the ability to escape is something that he hasn't been able to show us that Hurd did show us in this ballgame.
Swoops is going to take a shot deep. Foreman had a step on VJ Banks, but it's incomplete.
You know, guys, talking to Charlie Strong and this staff, the one thing they said was they wanted first downs. They wanted to be able to keep this defense fresh. You look at Texas, 68% of their drives over previous 3 games were 3 plays or less. Very different story tonight. 6 of 10, 60% of those have gone for over 3 plays. And that is exactly what this man you see on your screen, Charlie Strong, said this week. Just hold the ball, keep our defense fresh, and give us a shot.
That one is juggled and caught by Caleb Blewett. A few yards shy of the first down. I'm just impressed. Charlie Strong, turtleneck, September in Austin, and he wasn't sweating at all.
He's cool, calm, and collected. When you're winning a game like this, there's not a lot of sweating to be done.
Or maybe he is. Maybe on our monitors here, you can't really tell. Maybe you can on the fancy HD TVs people have at home. But he was drenched at times in a river of almost Nixonian sweat in the Notre Dame game.
Yeah, and he hadn't gotten much sleep this week.
Unable to move the chains that time. They'll have to punt the football away here. Just lost balance right there. Rice overloaded though. I mean, they had 10 in the box that time trying to stop it. Texas is going to have to punt the football away.
So Tyrone Swoops gets a series. Texas will have to kick it away. 4:30 to go in regulation. 3-touchdown lead for the Longhorns. Texas has had a defensive touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, and another punt return, which set up a 1st and goal. Timeout Rice with 4:32 to go. 4th and 6 Texas on the other side.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is presented by HEB. For all your game day needs, no store does more than HEB. And in part by Chevy Silverado, official truck of the Texas Longhorns.
Anish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks, Keith Moreland, Jane Slater down on the sideline. 42-21. Rice leading Texas. Longhorns punting away with less than 5 minutes to go in regulation. A fair catch signal by Sam Stewart at the 15-yard line. It'll be Rice football with 4:24 to go. We'll step aside one more time. New quarterback for Rice, Tyler Snelling, the 4th-year junior. He didn't play last week in the blowout win against Wagner. Had some tendinitis. Got a pretty good arm. His dad, Brian, was drafted by the Detroit Tigers in the 3rd round. Snelling to the air. He shows off the arm. He finds Cole Hunt, who takes it to the 40-yard line. Gain of 25. Tackled by Kevin Vaccaro, the younger brother of Kenny Vaccaro.
Yeah, he just took advantage of 2 freshman linebackers, Anthony Wheeler along with Brecken Hager, as they're trying to get back and get that depth in their drop, something that Texas struggled with a week ago.
Paid for the price, though, at the end of that.
P.J. Locke, another freshman.
Rice has taken its time most of the game. Let's see if they go a little quicker. Still a big mountain to climb. 3-score deficit. And it appears there is no urgency. Cameron DeSell tackled after a pickup of 5.
Well, this is that time and that opportunity to get to look at some other guys too. Get them an opportunity to look at the game. When you just get the feel, though, guys. And I look back at this game. Separated this game was about 5 or 6 gigantic plays, or we'd be in a real tight ball game right here. Most of those were on special teams.
And Deshae Johnson has had a big game in the return game. 3-man rush, Stelling underneath, caught again by DeSell. DeSell was a kid who came to Rice. He was recruited as a punter, played punter and wide receiver in high school, and then they found out, you know what, this punting thing isn't working out, so he was able to catch on again with the receiving corps.
That's a neat story. I love seeing players, especially student athletes, face some adversity and then find a way to fight back. Those are the life lessons that you never forget that football teaches you.
3rd and 2. First down for Rice as Dillard carries into Texas territory, a gain of 8. Well, Keith, coming into this game, the national narrative surrounding Texas was one of panic, of desperation, a team that had lost its way, a team that hadn't found an answer at a quarterback position. What's the narrative now for this program as we come out of this game?
Well, I think 2 things. One, they still got to figure out a way to stop the run. I don't think there's a question that you look at Vance Bedford and he'll say, hey, we've given up well over 225 yards rushing tonight. We got to find a way to slow that down as this ball gets outside. There's some more yards rushing right there. I know those don't look that much, but they build up. That's the first thing to me. You got to stop the run. But the other thing is we saw explosive plays in the last 3 ball games for the University of Texas. They've had 0 explosive plays. Not only in the kicking game, none in the passing game. They had 1 48-yarder last week, and in this ball game today, they have had 8 explosive plays. That's the difference. You got to find a way to be explosive. That's how they put 42 points on the board.
Let me play devil's advocate for a minute. The opponent is one that you should have explosive plays against and should be able to dominate. And one place Texas struggled was putting together consistent drives as Stelling fires a strike over the middle to Luke Turner.
Yeah, but they've won 2 of the 3 phases tonight,
Yes,
and we've said it. They won on defense, they won on special teams, and that's why you throw special teams into the mix. And let's face it, the offense didn't perform like most fans who were here today or watching would have wanted them to. But I saw some positive change. You saw a new quarterback came out that really gave this offense a boost. Gerard Hurd made some throws today that let me know that he can pass the football and help Texas win with his arm. And like I said, I thought that Jay Norvell in his first game of calling plays, right personnel groupings, and I thought he called plays that were designed to get his playmakers the ball.
Walter inside the 15 to the 14. Looking at Texas's scoring tonight. Offense contributing 21 points. Special teams, we're going to give them 14. 1 punt return for a touchdown. The other was taken inside the 5. And then Malik Jefferson with a fumble recovery that he took in for a TD as well. I'll tell you what, there are some nervous people watching this game right now. Texas came into the game as a 14.5-point favorite. Stelling chased, throws on the run in the end zone, and that is caught for a touchdown by Luke Turner. Hello.
That was too easy. Even late in the ball game, you know, you go back and you can see it to the outside, and he does a really nice job. Feels the pressure right here, and then moves to the outside, keeps his eyes down the field. That's a nice pass there. Just tardy getting there. Turner comes down with it out of that tight end position and comes down with a nice catch.
Well, this is a big extra point for a lot of people, and the kick is good, and that makes it a 14-point game.
I don't understand it.
Listen, hey, I'm just...
Wow. Well, and you look at that last particular play, you've got Chris Boyd, P.J. Locke, 2 freshmen in coverage in the red zone. You know, one of their first opportunities in a real game, a live look, to be able to see this. And, you know, Vance Bedford last week, he said it. There was one particular play, the one to Fuller, and we asked him this. To my understanding, Charlie Strong said on Monday that Vance Bedford was yelling on the sideline to Duke Thomas and Dylan Haynes that Fuller was about to go deep. And those 2 guys still gave up the big play. If you're in the back end and you're in zone coverage, the one thing that I was always told, you cannot cover grass. You've got to be active. You've got to find work. And there, once again, tonight, you saw 2 freshmen covering grass and not covering the man.
You know, we knew the defense coming in was young. They lost a lot from last year. 6 of the top 7 tacklers are gone. Malcolm Brown, obviously, a first-round draft pick. But you give up 441 yards to a Conference USA team and 28 points, and Rice could have had more if not for a couple of turnovers in Texas territory.
43 minutes, 26 seconds. And you would say, well, what's that? That's the time of possession in tonight's game for the Rice Owls.
That's incredible.
Texas is only going to hold it for 16 minutes and 34 seconds on the night.
We talked about those special teams guys. Just another great stat from our people here in the booth. Texas tonight, 175 punt return yards. That's a new school record. And a lot of that goes to DJ Johnson for a big return.
Onside kick attempt here. Takes a big bounce, and Rice able to recover it. Might be too little too late. 32 seconds to go. Down 2 scores. Zach Wright got in the air and made the athletic play.
Well, this is a perfect kick. Watch the second hop. It gets elevated, can't come down with it. Ball stays up in the air. Wright stays with it and comes down with it. And that's just a perfect kick.
It was.
Using the turf. The second bounce has got to be a big bounce. That's well executed right there by the Rice Owls.
And great effort there by Zach Wright. That's a hard play to make. You've got to really be burning to get to that location.
Tyler Stelling, the backup quarterback, comes out for his second series. And Rice with a chance to make this one look respectable in the box score. They've already done a pretty good job. They've held their own in many ways here in Austin. Dillard split wide. Texas rushes 4. Stelling under pressure, and he's dropped back in Rice territory. It's a loss of 10 yards on the play. Chris Nelson got there for the sack.
But just held it a little bit long. Try to get vertical that time. Obviously, at this point in the ball game, the little bitty outs, the short passes are not going to be there. And the pressure finally got to him as he's trying to get vertical.
Timeout Rice with 26 seconds. And our most dependable player of the game, powered by Chevy Silverado. And his first career start, Gerard Hurd. 4 of 7, 120 yards through the air, 2 TDs, 96 yards on the ground on 10 carries.
Yeah, he was what Texas fans have been hoping for, a boost. And a player with elite legs and running abilities. But as we've said, a 2 touchdown pass tonight. This is the first of the 2. Amani Foreman there. And then he comes back with just a bomb and drops it on the Rice defense for John Burt as he breaks through the end zone. But Hurd tonight, I've said it all week long on LHN. I've said it on all the platforms I've been on. I thought he needed to win the job. And tonight, if you're watching film, if you're watching what this kid has been able to accomplish, I don't think next week there's a competition. I think you're looking at your new starter of the Texas Longhorns.
So he starts against Cal.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Be hard to disagree. 25 seconds to go. Stelling. Wounded duck. That's caught by Dillard. And he'll run out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Stelling was hit as he threw it. And Dillard raced seemingly out of nowhere to grab it out of midair.
Wow. That's something out of nothing. It looked like this could have been a pick 6 right here. It's up in the air, nothing happening. And Dillard just sees it, able to get to it.
Paul Boyette Jr. there providing the pressure, but the play still works out in favor of the Owls.
17 seconds left in regulation. Stelling checks down to Dillard, and he runs out of bounds near the 20. Well, you know, this is 2 weeks in a row now where Texas defensively has given up a lot of yards, 500+ yards for Rice tonight. Notre Dame put up 38 points on Texas last week. As they continue to figure out the offense, there are questions and issues on the defensive side that Charlie Strong will have to address moving forward, especially considering the opponent next week. Right. Cal can score.
Yeah, they can, and that's why they're trying to create some depth right now by playing some of these young guys.
Stelling's pass is intercepted. Picked off by Brecken Hager, and that'll do it. Texas wins its home opener for the 16th consecutive season. The Longhorns in the win column with a 42-28 win against Rice. And for Texas, its first game since a win against Oklahoma State last season. They had lost 3 straight. David Bailiff and Charlie Strong say goodbye. Texas gets in the win column. There are still some questions for this team moving forward. In fact, there are quite a few questions moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, you've still got to find a rhythm. And I think changing the starters tonight, you saw that could be a boost. But for this offense and this team to win ball games, especially down the stretch in the Big 12, you've got to find more consistency on offense.
And I think you start with running the ball downhill. They still have to find it. The running game from the tailback, the runs tonight, and what they got on the ground tonight was mostly on the legs of Gerard Hurd. Still got to get the running game going downhill. Got to find a way to stop the run. Gave up over 225 yards of rushing offense to Rice.
The bright spot, certainly you start with DJ Johnson on special teams.
Yeah, he's fantastic. The senior played like a senior today. It was a sense of urgency, something we haven't seen from DJ Johnson in 4 years.
He was electric. That's the best thing you can say. It set a record for most punt return yardage for the University of Texas.
Jane Slater with Texas quarterback, and maybe the new starting quarterback, Gerard Hurd.
Gerard, describe for me how it felt to get your first career start and the win here at DKR tonight.
I mean, it feels good. Like, I don't know, I can't really explain the feeling. Like, it's a dream. So, you know, I think I had my role to do was, you know, to execute the offense, and that's what I did. So.
Do you think you did enough tonight to deserve this starting job going forward?
I mean, I played what I need to do. You know, that's when my number was called. So, but you know, as far as that, I have no insight on who's going to be the starter for next week. But you know, whoever it is, you know, our job is to, you know, just execute and win the game. So, you know, it's a great win for the team.
Thank you so much, Gerard. Congratulations on the win tonight, guys. Back to you.
All right, Jane, Texas with the W.
Welcome to Texas Game Day Final, powered by Chevy Silverado.
How do we look? The young fellas showing out in burnt orange for the first time. John Burt, I was just going to call him Mr. Big Play, as 4 Texas Longhorns score touchdowns for the first time in their career in the first win of the season for Texas. And it's time to breathe that sigh of relief. Welcome to Texas Game Day Final, powered by the Chevy Silverado. Lauren Galindo here with Ricky Williams, David Thomas, Vincent Young. Fellas coming into this, first time since 2007, Jay Norvell is calling plays. We were looking for a spark in overall total yards below 250, but they put up points on the board, 42. How'd the offense look?
It continues to be a work in progress overall. I think offensively, Gerard Hurd gave him a spark. There's no doubt that as soon as the fans saw him breaking the huddle on the sideline and taking the offense on the field, it brought a little electricity to the atmosphere. He didn't do a whole lot, but he did enough to help this team win. 10 carries for 96 yards is a big start, using his legs, and that was a big part of the offense having success.
That initial third down conversion, too, on the opening drive, where it looks like Eddie gets into the end zone, there's a hold. But that was a big spark this team needed. But there were other ways that Texas was able to help the offense.
Yeah, I think the offense definitely looked better. I'm not confident that the offense will have as much success against a better team and a better defense.
Very fair.
But I think one area where Texas can continue improving, and I think will come in handy later in the year, is on special teams. I think, you know, both games this year, it's been an area where they've excelled. 2 big plays on punt returns. I like to see it, and I think if these return teams can take pride because they have good returners, especially number 4, DJ Johnson. They can take pride in the return game. I think they can steal some big plays this season.
You could really say 3 punt returns either scored or directly led to touchdowns for Texas. 85 yards by DJ Johnson, the first one for a touchdown. Duke Thomas had that second return to set up a short 2-play drive And then later in the game, DeJay, again, it looked like he was going to pull off another miracle with some of those moves he's showing down the sideline. They bring him down, but Texas is able to eventually get Deontay Foreman into the end zone. What concerns you? What impresses you from this first win at home, VY?
Well, you know, definitely playing at home, then like people come into your stadium and outplay you and things like that. So I'm definitely proud of that, not taking the L in your home stadium. And then one of the things they definitely have to work on is their third down. They have to find a way to get that first down, that 3rd and 2, that 3rd and 5. They have to figure out how to stay on the field as long. Just like Rice was driving the ball tonight, I really feel like Texas has to figure out, you know, to get their tight end involved, or get a stick route, something to get that first down, because them type of things can hurt your defense getting tired if you plan to get a better team.
What was different offensively?
Yeah, there were a couple of things that were different. I saw the offense was able to get in more of a rhythm, and they ran the ball more. I think also with Gerard Hurd at quarterback, he's a mobile quarterback, almost 100 yards rushing. That's different. And one look I saw, especially in the red zone, is they had 2 tailbacks in the backfield. I like it, you know, coming in as a fullback. I like 2 runners on the field. I think it's a threat. You know, Alex Taylor-Torrey is a good football player, but he's not much of a threat with the ball in his hands. You put 2 tailbacks back there, you can do some special things.
Is that the commitment to the run that you wanted to see?
It's getting there. Like I said in the pregame show, I wasn't convinced that Jay Gray was going to touch the ball more than 15 times, and he did it, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and the biggest thing what I like what Gerard did today was protect the ball. That's one of the things as a quarterback when you first come into the playing in the football game. One of the things that coaches always teach you guys as a young guy, whatever you can do, protect the ball. If you don't see it, take off and run. He did those things. So right there, I can honestly say those type of things are going to help him continue to get better, you know, as he get in the film room and get some coaches and some study time.
How much improvement typically happens after you get that first run, really extended run for Gerard Hurd? What happens from here for a young quarterback?
Well, I mean, now you understand what he likes to do, and when he showed it today, he will take off and run the ball, which some of the things that you need. You want to keep the defense on the edge. You want to make sure, hey, if you drop back in the zone and if I don't see it, I can take off and make some big runs. And then now they're going to have to put a guy up there to spy him now. So now all the things he has to do is get better, finding his 1, 2, 3 receiver.
Yeah, and I think also is the next step is to work on the short passing game. It seemed like either he took off and ran or he threw a deep ball, or he handed off to the running back. And I think that's a great start. It's something to build on. But, you know, as the season progresses and you're getting in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, you're going to have to open up a short passing game.
Exactly.
Well, Coach Strong said coming into this one that the offensive issues can be corrected because he feels like they have the players that are capable of correcting them. But we didn't expect this to be solved overnight. We knew this was a Rice team that they should beat. How close, though, are they getting to having some semblance of something to hang their hat on, the identity that we were talking about coming
Well, I think Gerard Hurd is the answer to that question. I think he gives you an identity, you know, his poise, his confidence, the swagger he has out there. I think you have to build this offense around him. I still think you got to get Jay Gray the ball a little bit more and allow the offensive line to improve in run blocking. But I think offensively the identity is going to revolve around Gerard Hurd.
Here's the head coach of the Texas Longhorns.